yo, ayo. Welcome in, welcome in. It's time for a little horror talk, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, if you're watching this on replay, hit that like button, subscribe to this page, be a cool little fella. Press all the fun buttons. Because honestly, it's kind of fun to press buttons, especially red ones. So subscribe to the page. Guys, we're almost at 39,000 subs, which basically is 40,000 subs. It's basically the same thing. So, exciting stuff. We are moving forward. We are talking about all kinds of stuff today. Guys, 28 years later, the Bone Temple has dropped. No spoilers yet, because we really haven't, not everyone's had a chance to see it. If you want to talk spoilers, though, check out one of my latest video on the page talking all about spoilers, what's to come next. But again, let's keep it spoiler-free for tonight. Let's give everybody the weekend to see it, is kind of what I'm thinking, and then we can go nuts with it, right? I have a delicious glass of tea. I hope you all have prepared yourselves some wonderful beverages. And we're going to talk horror tonight. It's going to be fun. 6 more weeks until we get to see Scream 7. Terrifier 4 may or may not be releasing in October. Not really sure about that. Lots of things to talk about in the space of horror. We got a freaking crazy amount of trailers this past week for new horror movies too. So if any of those get brought up, we are down to talk about them. I am all caught up. Let's talk about some crazy stuff. Oh, one other big thing before I start saying hi to people. We got release dates for everything like yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but we got new release dates for a ton of 2027 movies, including Mike Flanagan's The Exorcist, the new Paranormal Activity movie, and a ton more. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that, bringing it up later on tonight. But anyways, let's get into this. We have King Matthew III with us. What is up, my friend? Welcome in. How are you doing tonight? Just finished watching Aliens 1986 for the first time? What? Yo, dude, I envy you. I wish I could watch that movie for the first time again. Maybe the best action horror movie ever made. I mean, I don't even know if anything else comes close. That's a masterpiece for what it is. Wow. That's amazing. I envy you, my friend. I hope you're just basking in the glory of what is the best of action horror. That is awesome. But very good stuff, King Matthew. Very good stuff. Mr. Ghostface 1993, thanks for being a channel member. What's up? What's up? How are you? How are you doing this afternoon? It's a little past afternoon. It's 7 o'clock Eastern time on the East Coast. I'm not really in the East Coast. I wish I was on the East Coast. That'd be cool. But I'm stuck in Ohio. The coast closest to me is the lake that once caught on fire. So there you go. Or was it the river? I forget. I think both of them caught on fire at some point. So that's what Cleveland's known for. And also Balloon Fest 1986. Don't look that up. It's terrible. Awful tragedy. My God. Let's get into this, though. Paula Fitzhenry's also here. What's up? What's up? Hi, hello. Welcome, welcome. Who's ready for Scary Movie 6, says Killer Boy for Life. I'm very excited for it. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I always love seeing comedies in the theaters. I really do. Naked Gun from last year, I feel like, was a very fun watch. Had a really good time with that one. Really over the top, really silly. I don't remember the last time where we just saw a movie that was just straight up silly in the theater. So that was fun. That was nice. Erica is hanging out with us. Erica Stabs for likes. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for modding. Thank you for being a member. You rock as always. I want to take a sip of this so bad, but as you can see, steam is coming off of it. It is still very hot from the kettle. I got made fun of by my English friend recently for making tea in the microwave. So now I have a kettle and I make tea the right way. But as an impatient American, I really just want to take a sip of this, but I know I'll burn my mouth. I'm gonna do it. A little hot. Yep, a little hot. Okay, definitely a little hot. Anyways, let's get back to this. Reaper Kid is saying Scream 7. Hell yes. It looks like overwhelmingly people are excited for Scream 7. 6 weeks left for Scream 7. Want to die, Jake? That's a threat, Killer Boy for Life. Nolan Games 93 is saying most anticipated horror movie of 2026. I got to be honest, it was Bone Temple. Was really excited for that one, and it delivered in every aspect. 10 out of 10 movie, in my opinion, if you guys have not seen it yet. Definitely go check it out. It's opening weekend, so go see it. I would rather you go see that than watch me just yap about movies, honestly. So go see Bone Temple. Make it happen. It's a good one. Who else is here? We got Austin Allman saying, hey, Jake, I sent you a Stranger Things 6 meme in Discord. Oh, yeah? Oh, man. If they just make a season 6 because they're like, everyone hated season 5, man. I don't know. I don't even know about that. I don't think it was that bad. I really don't. I don't think it was perfect by any means, but I don't know. People out here saying they need to redo it. It's like, it wasn't, I mean, come on, guys. It wasn't Game of Thrones bad. You know, I've seen worse finales for shows. It was very middle of the road, in my opinion. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I'm okay with it. I am very, very okay with it. Froggy Fresh 08. What's up, Froggy Fresh? How we doing? I have it in my head then it already has been a few days since Bone Temple dropped. I didn't find out until today that UK and Ireland got it a few days early. I think the UK got both of these movies early, if I'm not mistaken. They're very British movies, if you don't know. They're incredibly British movies. Just so many references, and I think in a weird way, I won't spoil how, but Bone Temple really finds a way to out-British themselves. All I'm going to say is the last 20 minutes, they find a way to out-British anything that has come before, which is it's impressive. It's really impressive is what it is. Lots of great stuff there. Samantha is saying, hey, Jake, I just had sliders and coconut pineapple sparkling water. That sounds awesome. Samantha's having a killer Saturday. Very good stuff. Oh, man. Well, enjoy sipping and enjoy eating. Or maybe you already ate and sipped, but that's all good. I hope you enjoyed it. We got Jace Crawford here saying 2026 has potential to be one of the best years for horror in recent memory. Undertone looks crazy. Passenger looks like a banger too. I'm very excited for both of these. Wow. Undertone looks like it's going to be just a really spooky watch. And I'm always down for that. Very Paranormal Activity inspired, but not necessarily found footage, so to say. But the audio from that trailer alone got under my skin. Really creepy stuff. The director has said that it is all about the audio. It's all about how creepy some of the sounds are in that flick. And truthfully, I think that's the thing that gets under my skin the most. Like a good visual always works. You know, that's always really well done, really, really efficient in terms of scaring your audience. But there's something about sound that fucks me up even more. Maybe the best example of this ever is the original Grudge, and I'm not talking about the Sam Raimi one. I'm talking about the one before that, Ju-On the Grudge. Is that 98, 99? I don't know. Or late 90s Grudge movie. And, you know, the ghosts don't look that amazing. I mean, I think it's like white paint to make them look paler, you know? Maybe a little black around the eyes to make it look sunken in. It's nothing that crazy, but it's because of the sound design that it is so scary. And if you watch that movie without the sound, it's all right. If you watch it with your eyes closed, it's still effective. And that says so much, I think, about just sound design and how it's a testament to truly terrifying your audience. So for me, sound is always going to be more important than visuals, which might sound crazy. You still need good visuals, but at the end of the day, I think if your movie doesn't sound good, it's really going to take you out of it versus if it's not shot well or whatever, you know? So sound is something I always prioritize a little more than everything else as I've moved forward with making stuff. So I 100% believe Undertone is going to hit for that reason alone. Passenger, though, guys, if you haven't seen the trailer for this, it played before Primate. Wow, really blew me away. I think one of the scariest little teaser trailers I've ever seen. It's a short film in and of itself. Really well done stuff. Wow. Great way to market a movie, though. Tell you what. Lots still to come in 2026, though, I think is the big thing to say about all of this. Blytheson is kind of getting into that. I totally agree. Lot more movies to come in 2026, but man, we might already have my favorite of the year with Bone Temple. So it's an interesting year. I've never been so sure of that this early on, which is exciting. Erica loves the mug. Thank you. It's got to whip out the Ghostface mug every now and then. Eli Cortez is also with us. What's up? What's up, Eli? Thanks for telling everybody to slash the like button. Sub to this awesome channel. You're awesome, Eli. Much love. Mr. Ghostface is kicking off our super chat goal for the night. I really appreciate that a ton. Thank you for the 5. You're saying my cinema gave me the go-ahead to wear the costume. Oh, very nice. This year has been about Stu being alive, so next Scream would have to do something with that. So you don't think Scream 7 is going to have Stu running around being alive? You think maybe the next one could? Well, hey, we'll see. You never know. The fans want it very badly. The fans want it more than anything, it seems. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything's possible. But what I will say is enjoy Scream 7, and I'm so glad that you get to wear the costume to the theater. That's very cool. Very exciting stuff. We had a guy at our Scream 6 screening in particular. I know he was wearing someone was wearing a Ghostface robe there, and that was fun. I thought it was a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement for Scream, and that's always a good time. If I wear those headphones any longer this week, I'm gonna get a headache, so I'm just taking them off. I sound good. It's everyone according to my stuff, it says my levels are good, so we're gonna keep it at that. We're gonna just fuck with that just a bit. Talking. Am I clipping? I might be clipping a little bit. Here we go. I don't know why I fucked with it. It sounded good. Okay. Back to it. Mr. Ghostface, though, thank you for the 5. Greatly appreciate the support. Enjoy Scream 7 in 6 weeks. Who else we got hanging out with us? Killer Boy is saying if they made a popcorn bucket for Scream 7, I will buy it. They did make one for 6, and I have it right there, which is pretty dang cool. I don't know if maybe my big head is blocking it, but yeah, I love that. Oh, I almost forgot. The lava lamp. I got it working again, guys. I got multiple lights on the set. We're moving. We're making things happen over here. I almost forgot. I always forget about cool things when they happen, guys. So we got that going, and I'm gonna have lights finally one day, because I keep collaborating with people who have cool lights, and I'm a little like, I need cool lights. Fuck. So I got those going, which is nice. It's almost like we got like a little lava section over here. It's like Ghostface and lava. I don't know. It's crazy and weird, and I love it. So we got that going on, but over here we need something else. I think we need some like purples, because I feel like purple and green is kind of like a big color here. I don't know. I think we need that though. So we're getting to it. We're making it happen. We're moving on it at the very least. All right, who else is with us here? Wow, we got a ton of people throwing a bunch of crazy shit into the chat. I love it. Darren Ross is saying, when is Scream 7 out in the cinemas? February 27th, which is 6 weeks away, approximately, a little less than 6 weeks at this point. Coming at the end of February. February's the shortest month, so once we hit February 1st, it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be a real quick go through, and then bam, we're there. So I'm really excited. It's not too far away now. Like we're truly on the heels of it. It's my TV G1R. What's up? Saying, why do you think who do you think? I can't read. I'm sorry. Who do you think would be the killers in Scream 7? You're guessing Anna Camp and McKenna Grace. I would love this duo for a couple of reasons. I think it would be really cool to see like just 2 women being Ghostface. That's a relationship we really haven't seen before. I mean, yes, we have had female killers before, but we've never had like 2 of them working together. That could be something different. And again, I think that's just what I'm looking for from Ghostface, the relationship between your Ghostfaces. That's always to me one of the most interesting things about these movies. Because I think it's more than just what is the motive. It's more than just who is underneath the mask. It's what is, like Richie and Amber are seemingly this secret couple the entire time. That's super gross. Same thing with Jill and Charlie in a way. And then, we have secret family members coming out of absolutely nowhere in Scream 6, just to throw some examples. But it's interesting. I'm really hoping that whatever the killer situation ends up being, it's something new. It's something that we can really sink our teeth into and just be like, wow, we can't really compare this to anything that came before. Like let's say Anna Camp and McKenna Grace, it's like mom and daughter, and there are killers. That's interesting to me. That's kind of a dark reflection of the focal relationship of Scream 7, which seems to be Sidney Prescott and her daughter Tatum. So I'm all about something like that personally. I think that could be fun. And I don't know. I would love to see just new relationships explored behind the mask in this franchise. Froggy Fresh is saying, I'm not too excited for Scream 7. Not because of the Melissa stuff, but because I'm so indifferent to the whole series. While it is constant, it's just consistently good for me. Not great. Good. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I don't think it's a bad series. I do feel like none of the sequels have lived up to the original. Like I do feel like they are very consistent in the fact that they always kind of deliver. They're always very fun. But I just don't know if any sequel could top the original. It's kind of Scream to me is in a similar situation as like Blair Witch Project. That is a movie that was just so brilliant because of the time period. It utilized the early stages of the internet to market itself in a way that just made it seem like it was this real thing being put into theaters, and that's terrifying. Scream is in a similar situation because it also kind of like utilized that a little bit, like this misdirection of, well, we're gonna cast Drew Barrymore in here and come to the theater and see it. Check this out. It's a new slasher movie with Drew Barrymore. And then she dies in the first 10, 15 minutes. That's like impossible to do nowadays because something's gonna leak. I mean, guys, let's just be honest. We know a lot of things about Scream 7, way more about this upcoming film than we did about Scream back in 1996, of course. So I don't know if any Scream sequel can possibly top the original just for that reason alone. You know, the shocks, the surprises, I think just would have probably hit harder back in 1996 than any of the sequels. Even though I do love all these films, I think they're all very fun. Even Scream 3, which is a movie at the first time I saw it, I was like, that was kind of weak sauce. But the more I've come back to it, the more I've learned to appreciate it. I think it's still at the bottom of my rankings, sadly, but I vibe with it a little more these days. I don't completely hate it. So I will say, I think for that reason, I don't know if any of these movies can ever reach the same level or even surpass the original Scream, but I think there is still a lot of fun to be had with this franchise. A lot of cool ideas that we can still mine for more and more movies to come, and there's still a lot you can say with Scream. I think there's just so much that can be said, can be done with it, that I really hope they decide to explore in future sequels. I'm worried that this is going to be a retread. That's my biggest worry with Scream 7, is that it's just going to try to redo stuff that we've kind of already seen from the series, and that would be a bummer. Jeremy Marshall is saying, "Hi Jake, do you think that Stu is in the mental hospital that we see in the trailer?" I think that it would make a lot of fans happy if that was the case. I guess I just don't think so. Why, if he was in the mental hospital, how did we not know about this until just now? You know, like, there's just so many questions that would raise, so many inconsistencies from the past. I can think of a million different situations from the last 5 movies where it would have actually been a super useful resource to go and visit Stu, perhaps in this mental hospital institution, whatever. I just don't think so. I feel like that would absolutely break this franchise in terms of logic. And like, look, I'm not the biggest guy on, everything has to be perfectly logical in a horror franchise. It doesn't. But, something like this where it just raises a million questions, that's something I just feel like you can't do. You can do something that, okay, we're stretching it a little bit, whatever, Like, if you have the taffy in your hands and you're warming it up a little bit, and you're just you want to stretch it out a little bit, nothing wrong with that. But if we're going to take the whole franchise and just do that with it, there's a limit. There's a limit to how far you can suspend disbelief, I think. Fashionable guy. Wow. Just what a statement with that name. I'm a fashionable guy. Get fucked is what that statement says. That's what that name says to me. I love it. Welcome in, fashionable guy. Can you do like a walk down the runway? Hang on. Can you do like a whole I almost just fell doing that. Worth it for the bit, baby. Anyways, let's get back to this. The movie Together is streaming on Hulu. You watched it last night. Did you see that? Did I see that? Oh, now I got to get up again. Hang on now. I got my little bag of tricks. Where is it? Not that one. Hang on. There it is. Oh, did I see it, baby? I got the poster. Oh, I saw it all right. Hang on now. This is going up on the fridge. Just for you, fashionable guy. Very nice. I don't know why I put these back on. I literally said earlier I'm not wearing them tonight. Okay. But yes, I did see it, and I liked it so much I have the poster, so... I think it was one of my favorite horror films of last year, without a doubt. Total banger, really fun. I also think it's I don't know if it was like super duper scary outside of a few little moments, but I did think it was just really it was a very thoughtful movie, and I think really only worked because of the situation. You have Dave Franco and Allison Brie, who are a real life married couple, and I think that's why it worked so well, because it's like, it's this couple that really does have chemistry, and they're totally selling me on this movie. It's a very in your face metaphor for marriage, I think, and just what that means, But like ultimately, I thought it was just a really cool movie. I love body horror, and I loved using it in a very wholesome sense. So it just felt like something very fresh and different to me, something I really hadn't seen before. So fashionable guy, I hope that was a good enough answer. I'm out of breath from the walk and running around, so if that didn't get me a subscription right there, I don't know what will. Leo Letty 1988 is saying, "Finger me if I'm wrong." I'll hold you to that, Leo. But Kirby is returning in Scream 7, right? I think you... I can't say that. You're just looking for some fingers, aren't you? No, great character, but I'm not a big fan of her being in law enforcement. It doesn't fit her. We don't have confirmation that she's back in Scream 7, but... I feel like it would be kind of weird if she didn't show up in this movie after making a big stink about how she's like, well, Ghostface cases I take a very special interest in. Apparently only ones that happen in New York City, maybe? I don't know. She wasn't there for 5. She was there for 6. Now she's potentially not there for 7. What? I feel like Kirby's likely going to be our secret cameo in entry number 7. I've heard this take before, though. Many people say they don't like her being like a FBI agent. I think it's really cool. I think it's kind of like a Clarice Starling thing. I feel like we could kind of build on that a little more. I just feel like we didn't really do enough with it in Scream 6. I think if we do more with it in future movies, it could be interesting. I don't know what else I would want to do with this character. I kind of like that we've reinvented her, brought her back into the story in kind of a natural way. It's an organic progression, I feel. She went from this like rebellious teenager to somebody who was affected by like some really awful tragedy, so decided to go into law enforcement. It's like total career, like just total shift in this character's entire life and change. And I don't know, I kind of vibe with that. I think that was kind of an interesting cause and effect that worked for me. It's better than just not explaining anything, you know what I mean? Than just saying, oh, well, I'm randomly a chef now. Why? Why are you a chef? Because I want to be a chef, you know? Like, we need cause and effect with all this stuff. So her almost dying, leading to her going to law enforcement, that totally works for me. That makes sense. So I really hope that we build more on Detective Reed. I hope we do more with it, and maybe it'll work more for fans out there. But that's my hope. Raptor Crasher is saying, are people excited for Iron Lung? Yes, I already have my tickets. Very excited for that one. Love Markiplier, and I'm really excited to see what this movie is all about. It's an ocean of blood. Guys, if you can't get into that, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, a movie that was made on a crazy low budget, independently released, and it's going like all over the world. That's pretty fucking awesome to begin with. But it is also, it has a really cool concept. It's about a guy who's like a convict in this crazy apocalyptic world where all the planets have disappeared. They discover a planet finally after searching for a long time, and it's just an ocean of blood. So they decide to send a convict who is welded inside of a submarine down onto the planet to search for resources. What the fuck? This is crazy. I'm really excited to see what this one's all about. I cannot wait. Very, very excited for it. So bring it on. That ought to be a fun time. Who else is with us? Alex Gray is saying, I like your hair. I like you, Alex. Thanks for hanging out with us. Much love. Big Preach. Eric is throwing $2 out there saying there's another day to celebrate in February too. It's my motherfucking birthday. Hey, what day is your birthday, Erica? Let us know. We'll make a big stink out of it. No one in chat cares, I see. Okay, never mind. I care, Erica. I want to know. No, we will absolutely celebrate your birthday. Erica, you are a pillar of this community, a very big part of it, and we greatly appreciate you a ton. So, no, we will absolutely be celebrating your birthday for sure. For sure. We'll be making a big stink out of it. So let us know. Let us know what's going on with all that. What else is going on? We got Mr. Ghostface again saying, I always like when the killer kills the police or authorities. It means the survivors have you the survivors have to catch the killers by themselves. So it's like, yeah, the authorities can't even help. It makes the killers scarier, right? I totally agree. I've always loved, there's a few movies in particular that I think do this really well. I don't know why this is the one that's coming to mind, but You're Next, where the cops don't even show up until the very end of the movie and then die, like accidentally. I've always thought that was so funny. It's like, well, you were no help. You were absolutely no help. So I don't know. I agree. I think that makes our killer or whatever the horror is way more scary, way more terrifying. Jordan Curley is also saying, I've got huge news for 2026, and it's something that is so risky but incredibly impressive if I pull it off. Let us know. I like all that. That's interesting. Risky and impressive. That's what they called me in high school, baby. Kirsten Marie is saying, hey everyone, what's up, Kirsten? Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for talking a little horror with us tonight. Who else is here? Fashionable guy laughing at my crazy strut. I'm glad he's here. I'm just glad we have a fashionable guy in the chat. Was really concerned that wasn't going to happen tonight. Frankly, it would have ruined my night otherwise, so I'm glad they're here. Big Brisk Yo is saying he was removed from the case and probably considered a victim. Roman probably funded his recovery, and once Roman died, Stu started planning. Not hard to really understand. What? He was removed from the case and probably considered a victim. Yeah, they would have, okay, but they would have said something about that opposed to believing him to be dead. That's the problem. That's the gap in logic that would break the franchise. It's not like one movie they've said that too. They've just acknowledged that Stu and Billy had been dead. Like all these movies, like it would have gotten brought up. You can't tell me if he was alive somewhere that wouldn't have gotten brought up. There's no way it wouldn't have. Sydney would be fearing for her life, I feel, every single day if one of the people coming after her. And yeah, that's the other big part of this. Sydney would not view Stu Macher as just another victim. And she would say something about it. Gail Weathers would say something about it. Randy Meeks would say something. Dewey Riley, everybody who survived the original incident would say something about it and do something about it. So that's where I just have problems with Stu being alive, and everybody somehow knowing about it and not bringing it up until 30 years later. That's just not how these things work. So for me, Scream is so grounded in that's the thing about Scream. Movies are not interesting when they're perfectly grounded in the real world. They're not. But some things have to be relatable from the real world. And one of those things is Sydney being so traumatized. And some people might not care about that, and that's totally fine. But I do feel like a big part of what works about this franchise to me is that Sidney Prescott is such a relatable character, especially to people in real life who have gone through some crazy bullshit. So now to degrade that by bringing Stu back to life, by saying that, oh, she just also looked at Stu Macher as a victim. That makes Sidney Prescott look stupid. That makes, trauma survivors look stupid, right? And it's like, dude, that's terrible. That's not at all what this movie wants to be saying. And I just feel like you would lose that anchor to reality that makes Scream relatable. So that's why I can't get into Stu being alive. It ruins a lot of good things about Scream, in my opinion. Not just that angle, but also it's no longer a murder mystery. It's not. You can't have Stu just poke into the movie and be like, how you doing, Sid? I'm a I'm a tax-paying citizen now, baby. Get fucked. No, we have to, for me to do a murder mystery, you can't just sucker punch somebody at the end by saying, oh, it's this random person now who hasn't been in the movie the entire time. Until just right now. That's not a twist. That's not a surprise. That's just a sucker punch. That's let's say we were watching Hard Eyes, for instance. And then the guy that they jokingly reveal to be the killer who was in one other scene before, didn't that feel a little disappointing? It would be the same thing with Stu. Or what if you're just watching a murder mystery in general and John Cena comes in and he's the killer? He was like, you didn't see me the whole time. Get it? That's my whole bit. That would suck. That doesn't work. That's not a twist. So I don't know. I can't get into that personally. But I do respect everybody who wants to see Matthew Lillard come back, because I'll be honest with you, that's where me and pretty much everyone else who wants to see Stu come back, that's where we all agree. Because I love Matthew Lillard and I would love to see him a part of this franchise again, but I think that there's a better way to honor his character, to honor his just person in general, rather than just bringing him back and completely dismantling the franchise. So I would love to see Matthew still be a big part of this franchise, just not that way. I think there's better ways to do it than we're just going to erase every bit of history from this franchise that, is such a big part of it. I don't know. I can't get into it personally, but that's just me. That's my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Did I get a new haircut? Jake looks different. It's because I'm not wearing the headphones. That's why. It's fucked up. I always wear headphones in everything I do. I just want to make sure my audio's good. I'm always so worried about that. But no, I'm just not wearing the headphones tonight. I didn't feel like it. I guess I just didn't feel like it. What else is going on here? We got Leo Letty saying, have you watched Yellow Jackets on Showtime? I think most horror fans would blow a load for this show. I watched the first season and I just have not come back to it. Not because it wasn't good. I really enjoyed season 1. I have not finished it. I have not come back to the show, sadly. So at some point I do want to catch up, get through the other seasons. But I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool show. It's got a great cast too. Ella Purnell, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Joel McHale. I think is in it. I don't know if I got to him or not. But there's a ton of people in it who just totally rock. There's one other person where it's like, oh yeah, is it Sophie Thatcher? I think it's Sophie Thatcher. I just remember being like, dude, the cast for this is crazy stacked. Christina Ricci is in it as well. Juliette Lewis. I totally forgot about this. Yeah, Sophie Thatcher, Ella Purnell. Maybe there was someone else. You know what? I'm just going to keep saying that about this cast because it really is stacked. I don't know. Elijah Wood. I knew it. I knew there was somebody. I'm like, there's one more person in there. Yeah, Frodo Baggins. He's in the show, which is cool. Yellow Jackets rocks, though. I got to finish it at some point. That might be another review that goes up sometime soon. Which, by the way, I did promise a Vampire Diaries review this weekend. It's coming. Working on it. Making it happen. We got super busy and sidetracked today. I just did not sleep last night. I basically just woke up from a little nap. Just kind of rested up the last few hours so that I could do this stream. I was going to do this at 3, but wow, I could not sleep last night. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't happening. Sleep and I were not agreeing last night, sadly. Anyways, let's get back to this. We got the Alpha 2549. Thank you for being a channel member. Saying, I think I should watch Hard Eyes tonight. I feel like I'll accidentally get spoiled for me on these lives one day. Apologies. I didn't say who the actual killer or killers are in the film, but give it a watch. I will say, I don't know if it's the best murder mystery, but I do think it's got a really cool design for their killer. So that's pretty cool. Give it a watch. Yeah, the movie is over a year old now. So I feel okay with spoiling it. Pretty much. I think it's almost a year now. So yeah, that's kind of the rule of thumb with this page. If something is like basically a month old at this point, like I'm like, yeah, it's been out for a while. I'm probably going to talk spoilers with it. That's just rule of thumb for pretty much every movie. If it's been out for like at least a month, I'm just going to talk about it openly. But I try to keep spoiler free for as long as possible. But just, you know, at some point it's like, well, we got to talk about these things. Most of us have seen it. So I'm so sorry if I do spoil anything for you. That's never what I'm trying, never the goal of this page, never what I'm trying to do. But that's all I'll say. King Matthew was saying, even though I'm not the biggest Stu is Alive fan, to be fair, with Sydney not knowing about Stu being alive, she also didn't know Jill was a ghost face, so her not knowing about Stu wouldn't be surprising. So was Sydney stupid? I don't think Sydney's stupid, though. Sydney is not a stupid character for me. Jill was not somebody that was like in her life, though. Like if Jill was someone that she was actively seeing like every single day, I'd get that. I don't know. I think it's believable that she wouldn't know that Jill was the killer. I would trust Jill in that situation too, probably. I don't think Jill has too many tells to give away that she's the killer. I mean, I was fooled by it, so maybe I'm stupid too. But but I didn't. The first time I watched it, I was not suspecting Jill at all. I truly think that's one of the better twists of the whole damn series. I love Jill as a ghost face. I don't know. It got me. So that's what I'll say. I wasn't expecting Jill whatsoever. Charlie, I was a little suspicious of. Like I was suspicious of all the people in the film club, because I'm like, well, they like those movies a little too much. That's I don't know about all this. So, but that's just my thoughts. I don't know. I feel like someone would have found out. Someone would have told her. Someone would have found out. Otherwise. What do I think about Spider-Man Brand New Day? I enjoyed the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I'm not over the moon about them, admittedly. I feel like they're not really... I feel like the last one kind of got into this a little more, which was nice. But like for me, at least, Spider-Man is a tortured character, very similar to like a Batman, but obviously has his own personality, style about him. And I feel like the first two Tom Holland Spider-Mans don't really hit on that much. So I much preferred like where that last one kind of went with it a little bit. even though, you know, Far From Home I think has its flaws as well. Brand New Day, I'm definitely excited for a little more. This character only works for me if he's tortured. Otherwise, he's kind of just Iron Man Jr., which is what I think I don't really like, which is what I didn't really love about the first two Tom Holland Spider-Man flicks. They're okay, they're fun movies, you know, but just in terms of what I love about Spider-Man, I feel like it's just kind of absent from those flicks. For me, like, my favorite are the Tobey Maguire movies, even 3. Spider-Man 3 is so much fun, I don't care. But the first two, like, masterpieces, especially 2. Like, Spider-Man 2, that is the best Spider-Man movie without a doubt. I love it to death. Hey, yo, Peyton, thank you for the $10. How we doing, man? Thank you for the 10. You're saying, I saw Bone Temple last night. I have to say that it was amazing. It takes everything I hate about the first movie and made it good. Great concepts, awesome ending, and really cool action and gore. Hell yeah. Well, dude, I'm really glad you liked it. I've been so curious what the reaction to this one is going to be, because, you know, 28 years later, a lot of people thought it was too weird, thought it was too experimental, and it is. It's weird and experimental, but for me, I don't know. It's all stuff that worked for me. Like, I'm just a weirdo who I'm just loving all the weird cinematography, the crazy bullet time. Danny Boyle is just he's a scientist when he gets behind the camera. He just likes to do a bunch of crazy shit, and not all of it works, but that's okay. I respect him for how weird he likes to get. And I think for me, Nia DaCosta kind of took all that weirdness and boiled it down to something that feels a little more focused. And I think that might be where Bone Temple exceeds the original one. Because even though I will sing the praises of 28 years later, there were a few little things here and there that I just felt were like kind of weird, pacing wise, and just maybe an imbalance of things I wanted. I feel like if there's anything I liked about Bone Temple more, it's that I think it's a little more balanced, a little more focused of a film. But I still love both. I mean, truly, I think this is one of the very best horror franchises that is getting continuations these days. And the biggest thing for me is that we're not just playing the hits. We're not just being like, oh, we're going to bring back the characters you love, and that's going to be it. You know, it's so much more than that. And I don't know. It's such a great new story to tell in this universe. What's up? How are you? We have a visit from Madison. Do you smell the stress-free candle that I have burning right now? Oh yeah. Go make you some soup, girl. Make that soup. We've got all the fixins for some soup, ladies and gentlemen. Let Madison know she should make that awesome soup. She's like, oh, it's late. I don't want to start cooking something. Nah. You know what? When I'm done with the stream, I'll come help you out in an hour. Isn't that crazy? Yes. Yeah, that would be great. Guys, if we meet our super chat goal, I will not only go on for another hour, but I will also wait to taste test this delicious soup, which is awesome. But yeah, but Peyton, I totally agree. I loved Bone Temple, maybe even more so than the original 28 years later. It was a total banger. Guys, we got Davey Deathray out there in the chat. What's up, Davey? Welcome in. Welcome in. Lighting Ghost is also here. Ayo. Favorite kind of soap? Soup. What's your favorite kind of soup? What's it called again? Starts with an M. You know, you pronounce it the right way. What is that soup called?
Never even had it.
So guys, it was really interesting. We went to the theater one day and we were talking about soup, and I asked, you know, no, I didn't ask. Madison showed me something. She's like, hey, do you want this soup? It's called minestrone. Minestrone soup. I think we should try this. Sounds amazing. And I'm like, minestrone? Is that what you mean? Yeah? Is that? You don't want minestrone? Minestrone soup? I'm just saying. I got to make fun of her for it. I'm so sorry. It's too fun. Yeah, Erica's loving that. I love that. Erica, by the way, I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place tonight. I'm super scatterbrained. When is your birthday again? I just remembered that you said something about that. And I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. I'm actually going back through the chat now because I want to find if you said what your birthday was. I completely forgot. February 15th. Okay. Ooh, a day later than if you were born a day earlier, you would have long legs would have been coming after you. So thank God. Okay. February 15th though. So we gotta remember February 15th. We got to do a special Erica stream. We got to make that happen.
A special Sunday Erica stream.
Yeah.
That's on
Yeah.
a Sunday.
How do you know that's a Sunday?
Because Valentine's Day is a Saturday.
Oh shit. Okay. Look at you go. Look at you go. Great stuff. Hey, we also got Peyton throwing another $10 out there. Peyton, thank you for the support. I greatly appreciate it. You're saying, also wanted to say that my grandma who has cancer recently just got diagnosed with lymphoma, which is like the best cancer you can get. Oh God. She should be pretty good and she's getting a lot better. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, but I am happy to hear that she's feeling better and hopefully going to be getting over it sometime soon. So Peyton, so much love to you there and just wishing nothing but the best in terms of good health. For your grandma there. But hey, so much love to you, Peyton. Thank you again for your support of the page. It means a lot, and just know that you have a wonderful horror family hanging out with you at all times here. Some great stuff. Leo Madison wants me to read this. Leo is saying my birthday was yesterday, and my mom still wishes that she aborted me. Wow. Okay. My God, Leo. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're with us. That's outrageous is what that is. Killer Boy is saying, is your girl a big fan of Scream? She's only ever seen the first one. Well, I want to show her the sequels. Did you like that first Scream?
Every single fucking one for me.
I do talk about it a lot, and she is typically on the other side of that wall.
And I can hear every single word that is spoken.
Who's the killer in Scream 2?
Fuck if I know.
Exactly. You have nothing spoiled. See?
All I know is that Matthew Lillard is in the background of the party scene.
Yes. Okay, so you've learned something. You've learned something interesting about Scream 2 from me yapping about it.
But I knew it was Stu and Billy like the second that I fucking saw them for Scream, the first Scream.
Did you? Yeah. I feel like that's like a twist everybody knows now, though. That's like just one of those things. I feel like the ending of.
I can stop.
Then let's watch the sequels. Let's see if you can figure it out. I will say I think Scream 2 is pretty easy to spot. At least it's easy to spot the killer. That's what I'll say. That's all I'm gonna say. I think it's an easier spot than the original. So I think that one you'll be able to get. Scream 3 and 4 may be a little more difficult though, in my humble opinion. Anyways, we got Mr. Ghostface out there throwing $10 out there. Thank you again, Mr. Ghostface. You're saying, I loved the plot twist in the Fear Street trilogy. Was it weird seeing Skeet playing a good guy in Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Zach Cherry's theory is that the drama teacher recruits 3 kids. Wow, that's a lot. So plot twist in the Fear Street trilogy, I liked those movies. They were fun. I have not gone back to them recently though. I did think it was cool that especially that last film kind of goes back to 1994 and brings it all together, which was nice. I loved that, Maya Hawke's like your opening kill, which is really sick of the original flick. I just feel like it was kind of diminishing returns with that trilogy. Like the first one I thought was really fun. Just being set in the 90s, having like a great really great vibe and just soundtrack, some epic fucking kills too. I don't know, 78 was like a little more of a, just it was okay, it was cool, had some Friday the 13th vibes about it for sure, some brutality. But I don't know, the 1666 kind of lost me until the end. Like the ending was where I was really starting to come around on that one. But ultimately, I do think it's fun. I think it's a fun series if you guys haven't seen it, especially if you're Scream fans. I think there's a lot to love there. Was it weird seeing Skeet play a good guy in Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Honestly, majority of the stuff I have seen Skeet Ulrich in, he's a good guy. Like, what stands out from his career is, of course, Billy Loomis. But out of the other things I know him from, like, he's typically a good guy, which is weird. Like, I'm trying to think what else. The Craft, he's not necessarily a good guy, so to say, but I don't know if he's, like, the antagonist of that film. Trying to think what else I know him from. He's in like a ton of, he's like got a lot of bit parts in other horror movies where he's like the dad, or something like that. So like I think that's kind of my modern, reference to Skeet. But it was cool. It was definitely seeing, oh my God, that's so funny. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, he's also the dad. So, yeah, that's kind of the parts I feel like I've seen him the most in lately. Like whenever I see him in something, in a new movie, it's like, oh, he's like somebody's dad. Or he's some cool guy that helps out somehow or whatever, which is weird. You'd think he'd have a history of playing villains. Zach Cherry's theory is that the drama teacher recruits 3 kids. I mean, do we even have a drama teacher, like focal character? Like we don't have a whole lot of things confirmed about characters. The one rumor that I'm just not buying, and maybe I'm just crazy, is some of the things about the characters themselves. Like we have a ton of names that I'm just like, I don't know if that's true or not. That's something that I've been scratching my head about. Just I don't know. It feels like, how do you know that about the movie? I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but that's something that I haven't been really super stoked on in terms of talking about, because I just don't know if I'm really buying all that. What I will say, though, I don't know if there's a drama teacher that is like a focal character. I know that there is going to be some sort of sequence where our characters are coming out of like a rehearsal or something for some sort of musical. But I think it's kind of just like, from what I know about it, it sounds like it's just set up to a kill. I don't know. We'll see though. I just don't, I'm not buying that the drama teacher is the killer. Like, again, I'm thinking it's got to be somebody who's on that poster that we just got this past Wednesday. That's going to be who our main killer character is or whatever. So I don't know. I guess I'm not 100% sure about that. I definitely don't think I think it's got to be, our ghost faces are the people who are on that poster. That's my thoughts, personally, but we'll see what happens. I am excited to get our twist when this movie drops sometime soon. Mr. Ghostface, thank you for the 10. I greatly appreciate the support. Some very good questions there, my friend. Some very good stuff. CB is saying, hello, when Valentine's Day hits, would you rather have Hard Eyes, the Miner, or the Angel Killer from Valentine 2001 chasing you? Man. You know what's actually kind of cool about all three of these killers is I feel like they all score some pretty damn cool kills. Some pretty brutal deaths. But I will say, I think the one that I would least want chasing after me is probably the Miner. Like, I feel like he's got maybe the most brutal ones under his belt. Hard Eyes after him, and then maybe the Angel Killer being last, sadly. I really do love Valentine. It's got a great twist. But I think that's probably the killer I'm the least afraid of from that list. Even though they're all pretty similar. Like, the more I think about it, I'm like, wow, all the Valentine slashers are pretty similar. That's fun. That's some cool stuff. But good question, though, CB. Very good stuff. We got the Alpha saying Fear Street had some brutal kills. It did. I mean, listen, even though Fear Street Prom Queen was kind of whack, there was a few good kills in there. There's a few solid, like, okay, that was all right. That wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I'll be honest. We got Ghost in the Dark kills. I love this name. Love it, dude. Hopefully you guys have a dark Valentine's Day. Get some dark romance. Wear your ghost face mask when you're giving it. Wow. That's some kinky stuff right there. But you know what? Do what you want to do. Just maybe just don't share it with everybody on the internet. That's what I'll say. Hey, Raggedy Man, thank you for being a channel member. What's up? He's a good guy in Jericho. I've heard of that show. I've never seen it before. Isn't that something like everybody? Like all the is it like everybody dies in the world besides like 2% of the population or something? It's something like that. I've heard of that show. I've never actually watched it. But very cool. Magnificent Logo is saying, yo, just saw 28 years later the Bone Temple. That shit was metal as fuck. I want to say more about that, but I can't. Yes, again, spoiler-free stream when it comes to the Bone Temple. This one has just dropped. Not everyone has had a chance to see it. But what I will say, my friend, is I see what you did there, and it is metal as fuck. Super duper metal. So, wow. I love that. I'm glad you liked it. I also loved it. I think it's just a really fantastic film. I feel like we have a part 3 on the way that is going to totally rock. So cannot wait for it. Leo Letty is saying it's interesting that Skeet never hit that next level with his career because he has the looks and he's a good actor. I'll take Skeet over someone like Channing Tatum. Skeet's great, man. I feel like I don't know, maybe he just never had a role that was really like crazy and over the top, like outside of Billy Loomis, you know? Love Billy in Scream, of course. That is awesome. But I'm just like, I'm trying to think about the rest of his career. Like, I don't know if there was too many other roles where I was like, oh yeah, you know, like this was a huge breakout kind of thing. Compare that to somebody like David Johnson, for instance, who's just getting all these crazy roles and like he's just on top of everything. I feel like whenever I see him in a project, like he's the standout performance so many times. If it's Alien Romulus from 2024, easily he was the standout. And then also last year's, The Long Walk, another case where I'm just like, dude, easily the standout. Wow. This guy's gonna be, he's going places. You know, that guy's a future Oscar winner, I predict. So I don't know. I agree. I think Skeet definitely has the talent, but I just don't know if he's had, like, outside of Billy Loomis, another role where I was like, oh man, total show stealer, you know. And sometimes that's just lack of opportunity. Sometimes that's just, you know, didn't have a chance to really throw it out there in some sort of crazy part. I do love him in The Craft. You know, we brought that up earlier. I think he's good in that, but he's not the standout. You know, that's Fairuza Balk all day. Come on now. Love Sidney Prescott in that movie though too. Neve Campbell, another big part of what I love about that movie. Robin, the whole main four group of girls in that flick, I feel like are all have a standout moment at least at one point. Rachel True as well. Got to give a shout out to her. She's amazing in that movie. Wow. Lots to love about The Craft though. That's one of my favorite 90s horror flicks. Cannot stress how much I love that one. I've been trying to get Madison to watch that with me because she loves The Lost Boys. And if you guys have seen both of those movies, The Craft and The Lost Boys, they're so similar. I mean, they're so unbelievably similar and both so damn good. I love them both for very similar reasons, but wow. Even though they are so similar too, I don't feel like they're like ripping off of each other either. Like I feel like they're great. They're great movies, both on their own. You could watch either and really love or appreciate one or the other more. So, the Scream enthusiast is saying, what do you think of the concept of Jill returning in Scream 7? Do you think it's possible? And if so, would you like to see her return? You know, I honestly would like to see Jill return more than like a Stu, just because I feel like there is more character there with her, or more to do with that character, I should say. Like, I think you could, just because of how ahead of her time her motive was, I could see that still being relevant now. But again, repeat killers in Scream is something that I just don't think would necessarily work. Unless you were doing like a two-parter. You know, like if you were doing a two-parter movie where it's like the first half is like we have, you know, ghost faces who kind of you think get defeated but are still alive, and then you want to do a part 2 where they come back for whatever reason, I could get into that. You know, maybe part 2 is not necessarily a murder mystery, just an extension of whatever the first part was. Sure. But like, I don't know, man. For me, a big draw to Scream is the murder mystery, is like going through it and being like, oh shit, you know, like who is, like, I'm trying to figure out who it is. If the cogs in my brain aren't turning the whole time I'm watching one of these, I don't know. And at the same time, I feel like that gives these movies such rewatchability. You know, if Scream 7 is just this event film where it's like, oh, Stu comes back, it'll be really exciting. It'll burn like tissue paper, you know, for a quick second, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man Far From Home, I think, is a really good example of that. That movie was so exciting to see in the theaters, and I've gone back to it a few times, and it's bad. It's like, I do not care about this movie anymore. It's way too damn long, and I don't know. It's the pacing is, I think, is terrible in that movie. Wow. But I want Scream to be more than an event film. You know, I do love that these movies are big events, big exciting movies to, you know, go out, horror fans to go out in droves to the theaters to go see. That's awesome, but I need more than that. I want a good murder mystery. I want to be like kind of looking through the cast, being like, oh, who's the next killer here? You know, who could it be and why? What's the motive? What's, you know, who are they working with? There's so many questions like that I just feel like you would deprive a new Scream film from just like having any character return in general. And I know Scream fans don't like hearing that at all. I know people want to see killers return. I know that's a really fun part of this franchise. You know, seeing especially the protagonists return, but it's tough to do that with killers, man. I want a murder mystery, and I don't want to be deprived of that with future installments. But anyways, we got Peyton throwing another 5 out there. Thank you again for the support, my friend. You're saying, I'm about to stream my Screamathon on Twitch soon, and I can't wait to watch all of them for 7. So excited. Scream 7 is kind of mentally insane. I'm very excited for 7, and I hope you enjoy rewatching all the flicks. A lot of fun to be had with all 6 of these movies, and I'm hoping that 7 is no different. So thank you again for the support. You're also throwing another $1 out there. Thank you. And another 2. Saying, I need 1 more hour before the goal ends. Well, we're almost there. We're almost rocking and rolling. We still got, I think, 7 minutes or so on that. Yeah, or 5 minutes. I can't read, but we still got time. Anything could happen. Still time to make it all this crazy shit happen, baby. What else is going on here? We got I am not a therapist. I'm so sorry. Definitely not. If Jill doesn't come back, I'm gonna die is saying I need Jill. That's you got it right there in the name, my friend. Wow. I also do love Jill. I can't say I don't. I think that truly if there's any killer that they could do more with, it would be Jill. But I worry that if the motive behind bringing back a killer in general would not be to expand upon the themes of said killer. You know what I mean? I think that would be my problem with having Jill or Stu or anyone come back. Because, like, I don't actually think they're going to expand on what's so cool about Jill, which is, like, for me at least, her motive. Like, it was great to see that reveal happen in real time with Scream 4, a movie I didn't know anything about before I watched it, which was great. I mean, that's, like, the best way to go into that one. But I really just think, like, if you're going to do more with Jill, you're going to have her come back, you got to do some sort of thing about her trying to become social media famous again. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know if I would want that character to come back. But for me, it's like if they're going to probably just based on, you know, Hollywood studios and all that, if they're actually going to bring somebody back, it's going to be just for the nostalgia of it. It's going to be for the bit kind of thing. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I would hate to see Jill just come back and then it's like they don't do anything with her. It's the same thing that they've done with Gale in the last two movies. I mean, they've done nothing with Gale in the last two movies. And it's a shame, in my opinion. So I really am hoping that we make some more things happen with these characters. If we're going to bring them back, you know, actually do something with them. You can't just have them show up. You know, you gotta do more than just have people show up. You gotta give us a fulfilling storyline with these people, I say. Erica is throwing two out there saying, we can do it. Hit the like button as well. Hit that like button, baby. Make it happen. And we have done it with another two super chats. Thank you guys for the support tonight. Peyton's throwing 20 out there saying, do you think that Scream 7 will be like a No Way Home for Scream, with the TV spot basically saying it's all led to this, and Stu is maybe setting up like a cult like Scream 3, but with returning ghost faces like Mickey, Jill, and Angela and Ethan? I mean, just for me at least, I don't want to see that happen. That's like just so that's the antithesis of what Scream is, at least in my mind. But I will say, I think that the marketing wants us to believe that. I think absolutely the marketing wants us to believe that this is some, you know, amalgamation of everything that's come before. But if I know anything about Scream, they typically try to subvert expectations. They try to make you think something is happening when truly something else is going on entirely. And the marketing, everything about the marketing is saying this, is saying that Stu is coming back, is saying that, you know, people from the past are still alive. They didn't really die. But again, Scream always finds a way to subvert expectations and do things differently. So I think that it's going to be, you know, something else that isn't perfectly predictable. So I really think they're trying to make us think one thing when really something else is going on entirely. So that's at least what I hope. I don't want to have it all figured out right now. I don't want to be sitting here being like, this is exactly what's going to happen in Scream 7 and nothing else. I want to be totally in the dead. It's just dead wrong when we actually get to the theater and watch this one at the end of February. But I don't know. For me, I just feel like if it was something like this, this feels like something Scary Movie would do, you know, to make fun of Scream. Not something that Scream would actually do, I guess, just because I think that these movies are so rooted in meta horror commentary. Our killers typically represent something that is going on in the space of entertainment, or how entertainment is affecting, you know, the world. Jill, Mickey, great examples of this. The reason I think these two especially are such beloved, you know, killers and characters is because, like, Mickey he wants to get caught. I mean, he wants to get caught and he wants to prove his innocence by blaming the movies. That is the most perfect late 90s killer motive you could possibly have for a Scream film. I mean, oh my God, it's so perfect. You know, the late 90s was this time where so many people blamed horror movies and video games, just anything they possibly could, for being way too violent and saying that they made kids violent, when that's just, there's no scientific evidence to back something like that up. Instead of listening to science, however, parents were just pissed off and they wanted to blame anything they could, and the easy thing to do was blame Beavis and Butthead, which was on the TV, or Scream 1996. And I think, like, to have a character like Mickey think that he's going to get away with murder because so many people, you know, are just vilifying horror flicks in general, that's so interesting to me. I don't know. I love that. I love that about Mickey's character. Jill, in a way, is kind of an evolution of that because she wants to kill people and kind of have this faux murder mystery spree that she is going to pretend like she didn't cause and was a victim of so that she could gain followers online, so that she doesn't have to really, do anything else with her life and just be this like social media star who survived some accident. She wants to be Sidney Prescott and reap all the benefits of it. And I think that's why Scream 4 is so brilliant to reintroduce Sidney Prescott is writing a book about everything that happened to her and, essentially profiting off of that. And you literally see Sidney in that movie go through this arc of, well, I don't want, I don't want this. This is not why I'm doing this. Rebecca Walters, there's this distortion between these two characters where you have, Sidney Prescott essentially saying like, I don't like that you're so focused on making money off of my trauma. That's fucked up. That was what was wrong about, the Stab movies back in 1997. That was what was wrong about, everything going on with Roman Bridger in Scream 3. And now we're kind of getting a sense of that here from Rebecca Walters in Scream 4. Jill, if she was in that situation, if it was the opposite, Jill was working with Rebecca, she'd be like, make me money. Let's get this going. And that's fucked up and kind of wrong, and that's, I think that's what's that to me is what's so intriguing about just Scream in general, is that we can have these really subtle nuances. It's more than just nostalgia. That is a part of it. That's absolutely a component of these films, is looking back on the past, looking back on, what other horror movies inspired what's coming out today. But I think if you didn't have these other nuances, I don't think it would be the franchise that is so beloved today. So I guess that's my big rant about that is I love all these characters. I really do. But I just feel like if we did some sort of, Spider-Man Far From Home, like just meet up with all these characters, it would just lose what is so great about it, in general. But that's my crazy rant. Apologies. Apologies for the rant, but thank you for the 20. Really appreciate your support, my friend. So much love. Gina is also throwing 2 out there saying, Ziggy says, please send the like button some love. Much love, Ziggy and Gina. Thank you for your supports. Let's get this bad boy out there. Let's make it happen. Let's have more horror fans hanging out with us. Appreciate that a ton. Thank you for the 2. What else is going on here? We got Mr. Ghostface throwing 5 saying, call back to what I said this year is all about the Discord over Stu being alive. So Scream 8 or 9. We'll have to find a way to do that. Call back to what I said this year. Wait, what? It's all about the Discord over the discourse over Stu being alive. So Scream in 8 and 9 will have to find a way to do. So you're kind of saying like maybe Scream 7 is going to be its own thing, but like 8 and 9 could set up that Stu is alive. I mean, I feel like the fans want it to happen. To kind of talk about something else, I feel like the fans want it to happen so badly. It's almost like, well, maybe we should just find a way to do that outside of, the franchise. Like just do some other big event movie or something. I don't know. 7 doesn't feel like it's going to be that movie for me. I feel like they're just making it too obvious that that's going to happen here. Again, I feel like that's a way of subverting attention, diverting, I should say, attention away from what's actually happening. So you think it's going to be this other thing when really it's not. That's my guess as to what I think is going on here, but who knows? But Mr. Ghostface, thank you for the 5. I really appreciate it. Maybe Stu's coming back. I don't know. There's a lot of, maybe it's not misdirection at all. Maybe it's just on the nose. Stu is coming back. No murder mystery this time around. We're just fucking around. We're gonna just bring back all the dead killers now. Peyton is throwing 20 out there saying, so you tell me if you see 6 ghost faces, each one take off the mask, and Mickey, Jill, fucking Angela answering that theory, and Stu and coming back, he will not be jumping up and down going, oh my God, I love you, Kevin Williamson. I will not be doing that. No. You're also saying I'm joking with you for your information. I understand your opinion. I mean, look, it'll be a fun moment of nostalgia. I mean, I'm not gonna not be like, oh my God, it's so cool that they're in this movie. I mean, it'll be fun for 5 minutes, but I think what I love about Scream is I've come back to all 6 of these movies so many times and they're so rewatchable. Something like Spider-Man Far From Home, it just is not for me. Like, I just don't have that same excitement coming back to that one. I have no interest in buying that movie. But something like Spider-Man 2, which I think is so rich in theme and in just character in general. Like, it's just, you're watching Peter Parker get the shit kicked out of him the whole movie. And then finally he comes out on top at the end. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out in the early 2000s. But it's an amazing film. Like, for me, superhero flicks and, you know, just movies in general, I think, need to be more than just event movies, big nostalgia blasts. I think I need more than that. I need some really interesting characters going through some shit. And I don't want to sacrifice, you know, that grounded relatability just to have that. But what I will say, though, is I know it'll have the fans really excited to see Stu on screen again, or any of these dead characters. So I wouldn't hate it, but I do feel like it would change the way this franchise moves forward. If Stu comes back in this flick, the next movie is going to be about how Jill is coming back. And the next movie after that is going to be about how Mickey is coming back. Because why would they change it up? If Stu comes back, it'll make a gajillion dollars. It will. It just will. And even though I don't love the idea, I know that it would totally sell. And the studio would look at that and they would say, why don't we just keep doing this? Emma Roberts wants to come back. Parker Posey wants to come back. Drew Barrymore wants to come back. Why not just bring them back? And it would just turn the franchise into one big event nostalgia fest, like what the MCU is right now. And Scream, to me, like, it isn't that. Scream is not that right now. But if it turns into that, well, then it's now evolved into something else. And I don't know if I'm as interested in something like that as versus what we typically get from this series. Even Scream 6, which is not a perfectly well executed movie in every single regard. I think it is still very rich with theme and still kind of gets into some of the like crazy things happening in the world of film and movies and just how that affects people nowadays. So that's just kind of my stance on it. But I could go on that rant forever. but I won't. But Peyton, thank you for the 20. I will say, if Stu is alive here, I can't be too upset with it. I know a lot of people are going to love it. So that's what I'll say. I don't have any hatred in my heart for that kind of result of a movie with Scream 7, but I just know that wouldn't be what I love about Scream. So I really want to see a legit murder mystery here. That would be so much fun. Would be a really cool thing. But Peyton, again, thank you for supporting the page. It really does mean a lot. And I hope you get everything you want out of Scream 7 for this release here in February. Big Briscoe is saying, Jake, we should write some stuff, a movie or series. I've got some real banger ideas. Multiple minds coming together makes everything better. I am always down to collaborate. I love working on shit. I'm working on I can't say what, but I am working on a little project right now, and I'm excited to eventually announce it. It is definitely going to be fun. It's something that an idea I'm coming back to that I didn't know if I wanted to do or not, but I'm just like, you know what, this is what I want to make right now. I think I really asked myself, what I wanted to do, what I want to do next. We've worked on a lot of short films in the last couple of years, and I just thought to myself, this is what I want to make. This is what I'm the most interested in doing right now. I don't care if it's like the most, if it's the most popular thing or whatever, but this is what I want to hit on next. So I cannot wait I want to take a little time before I really talk about anything officially, but we're working on something really interesting right now, and I'm super hyped to finally talk about it with you guys. That's all I'll say for now, but more film stuff is coming. It's just it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time to plan it all out. Like the stream or I will come for you says, if Jill doesn't come back, I'm gonna die. I love that. Thank you for supporting the page. Really does mean a lot. Scream Enthusiast is saying, yeah, but if Stu returns, how do you top that? You can only do this concept so many times until it gets old. Could you, though? I mean, like, there's fans of Stu, there's fans of Jill, there's fans of Drew Barrymore. Dude, I'm telling you, if Stu comes back in this movie, they'll do it with 6 more films after that because it'll make so much money. And the proof is in the pudding. Marvel has already done that multiple times. DC has done that multiple times now. They're gonna just find a way to work that into every movie moving forward. It works. It makes money at the box office. It brings people to the theater. And you know what? I can't argue with that. But again, I think rewatchability is such a big thing for me. And once that sheen of nostalgia wears off, once you know it's coming, I just feel like it's not as exciting or interesting. It's something like that is a sucker punch. It's something very similar. It's just out of absolutely nowhere. Bam, this thing's gonna happen. I mean, is there any setup in No Way Home for Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield to be involved with it? No, they kind of just show up. And that's a fun thing. It was a cool event. But I just don't know. There's no rewatchability to that movie. Like, there's no like rewatch value to something like, Far From Home, or even trying to think what else would be another good example. Like The Flash, I feel like kind of has a little bit of that energy. You have like George Clooney showing up at the ending is a little gag. You have Michael Keaton Batman kind of being a part of the middle of that movie, and like I feel like it all just plays for nostalgia. I love Michael Keaton. Fucking awesome guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's probably still my favorite Batman, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, this is really fun to watch one time, but just outside of that. Mr. Ghostface throwing 5 out there. Thank you. You're saying I meant about the fans arguing over Stu being alive or not. Hang on. Let's go back here. Call back to what I said. This year is all about the discourse over Stu being alive. Yeah, no, I read. I think I got that. I knew that you were talking about fans arguing over Stu being alive or not. I think that I really hope that it doesn't ruin the film for people, though. That's what I'll say. I hope that your expectations aren't too high for Stu to come back, and then like, what if it doesn't happen? I hope people fairly judge this movie based on just what it is on paper and not what the marketing is trying to make you think it is. Because that would really suck. That would really suck for me if people were like, well, this movie sucks because Stu didn't show up. But like, what if it is really good though? Like, what if it is a really solid flick, but people are just upset that Stu didn't come back? That would really bum me out. I feel like that wouldn't be fair. There's already so much going against Scream 7 that like, if it is an actually competently well-made film, people no matter what are gonna review bomb this one. So I hope people judge this fairly just by what it is, and nothing else. But hey, we'll see. we'll see what ends up happening. We got CB saying, has there ever been a scene in a slasher movie where a killer realizes that she is doing anything wrong and turns to the good side? I mean, there's definitely been movies like that for sure. I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm sure there's movies where it's like there's somebody who's like kind of on the wrong side of it, of everything, but maybe has some elements of empathy that ends up kind of turning them to the other side. I don't want to spoil it, but there's something kind of like that in 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And I don't want to say any more than that, but yeah, I'm sure there's a million examples of something just like that. What's okay? Here's actually a good example of something. Marshmallow, a movie that is getting a sequel now. A movie from last year, really good flick, crazy underrated. Kind of wearing the skin of a slasher, but goes to some different places. I highly recommend it. I absolutely loved this flick. But it's really cool because it kind of is constantly throwing new things at you and making you like ask the question of like, who really is the bad guy here? Who's in the wrong? What is necessarily fucked up about this situation? Wow. Such a cool movie. If you guys have never seen it, check out Marshmallow. That movie is all about some crazy twists and turns. If you want to see those, but yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if you've ever seen that. There's energy like that in that flick too, is what I'll say. But definitely check that one out. I'm so excited that it's getting a sequel. Bring it on. Lainey is saying, I feel so scared and worn out from the hospital. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I know spending the day in the hospital, no matter what's going on, is brutal, taxing, exhausting. Lainey, just so much love to you, my friend, and I'm glad you're here with us now. I'm glad you're chilling, relaxing, hopefully. Getting some good food, vibing. Do everything you need to take care of yourself, my friend. Thank you for being here. Ghost in the Dark kills. The first one was good. Hopefully the second one will be all right. Are we talking about Thanksgiving? I just saw someone say that. Yeah, Thanksgiving 2, it's happening. Eli Roth finally gave us a big update on that today, ladies and gentlemen, which is super duper exciting. Really excited to see Thanksgiving 2. Apparently it is still happening. They are planning on moving forward with that, but guy's just busy. He's he's working on so many different movies with his other company right now. The horror, is it the horror section? He's got a lot on his plate. I know that he's in post-production right now for The Ice Cream Man, which I've heard very good things about. You guys should definitely go check it out. You might see a familiar face in that one. I don't know. What do I know? But Ice Cream Man, really excited for that. That's going to be fucking awesome. What else? What else from his thing? Snoop Dogg. He's making a movie with Snoop Dogg called "Don't Go in That House, Bitch." Not even kidding. That is the title of this film. It's ridiculous. There is technically already a little teaser trailer out there for it, so I'm loving that. That's just completely outrageous. But I hope that we get to Thanksgiving 2 eventually. I love that first one. I don't really know if I need a sequel, but like I'll take it. You know, John Carver is a really interesting villain, and I wonder who else would be underneath that mask. I'm almost kind of hoping that they don't bring back Patrick Dempsey, though. Is that weird? Like, I loved that storyline in the first movie, but I'm almost kind of hoping that they just have like a new incident to kick it off. Because like, what's the best part of that movie? What is the best part of Thanksgiving? For me, it's the opening scene. The Right Mart Massacre is so fucking crazy. It's so Eli Roth. I mean, it's just so his style of humor. It's very dark. But also very funny at the same time. I think we need like another incident like that to kick off whatever the next movie would be, and then a year later on Thanksgiving, you know, sends the movie into overdrive. So I think we need something like that to open up this next Thanksgiving. Or even something more simple than that. What if we go back to the Right Mart Massacre at the beginning of Thanksgiving and we show a different angle to it? Something else, someone else died that, you know, influences someone else to go after these same characters who kind of started it in the first place. You could do something like that. You could build off of the original in that way, just all stemming from that original incident. I don't know how many more times you could do that if you wanted to make this a franchise, but that would be fun. I would be okay with that for like one more sequel. Sure. You know, let's see what you can do there. There's somebody else who wants to kill because of something that happened that night. I don't know. I'd be open-minded to it. That'd be fun. Mr. Ghostface is throwing 5 out there. Thank you again for the support. You're saying, I've always felt that he's dead. What did you think of the new rules of surviving are? Notice that 2 girls from Ghostbusters are in Scream 7's cast. What are the new rules of surviving? I'm wondering what that's gonna be, because I feel like this is... I almost feel like we're going backwards, you know, like Scream 6 was trying to like open this up to saying like this is a long-standing franchise, you know, like the series is out of ideas, anything goes. There's kind of that wind of that last film. So this one, I feel like we're almost doing requels again. And I feel like especially we're hitting on like finales, like whatever the last part of something is going to be. So like for me at least, that says that one of the rules is like Sydney could go either way. They're gonna tell us, oh, maybe she could die here, when obviously she's not going to die. So I'm definitely thinking we're gonna have a conversation like that. Like I could totally see Mindy saying something to Sydney about, well, this is a finale. You know, this is probably like the last one. So Sydney, you know, this could be it for you. This especially could be, you know, the Ghostface is targeting you, and it all comes back to the original. I'm sure is going to be a rule. Because I feel like this movie especially is going to make us think it's something that connects back to the original massacre. When really I could see it being just a bunch of kids who are, you know, pissed off, you know, using AI to pretend that they're connecting back to the original, but that's not really the case. I think that would be interesting. I don't know. That would be a fun reveal at the end if it is just some kids who just know the history very well of what actually happened. And tricking Sydney into believing it's Stu who's alive, tricking her into believing that her half brother or whatever is still out there. That could be kind of fucked up and could play into some very real things happening right now. You know, people, you know, sadly, there's a lot of people who are fooled by, you know, AI videos. I mean, fuck, sometimes I am too. I'm like, oh shit, was that real? And it's like, nope, it's not. It's somebody posting some crazy dumb slop on the internet. And I feel like you can kind of weaponize that and make it evil. I mean, in a way, it should kind of be illegal, right? You can literally, there's programs out on the internet that anyone can access where you can make a video of just anyone doing pretty much anything. That's kind of fucked up, right? And it looks real. It looks like it's something that's really happening. That's scary, dude. I mean, like, you could convince people like something like that is real, and you convince enough people that something like that is real. Well, now what the fuck is reality anymore? You know, we get all of our news from our phones, social media. That's something that's real fear that I feel like a lot of us are facing with this new technology being so abundant. And fucking everywhere. So, you know, to kind of play into that here in Scream, I feel like makes a lot of sense. This is the same technology that is also threatening the movie industry. I mean, you know, a lot of people online are saying, oh, Hollywood's going to be dead in a couple of years because we can just generate movies online. It's like, what? No. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. So I feel like that is such a scary thing for movie lovers. It's such a scary thing for, you know, just people in general who don't want to have videos of them doing weird shit online. I mean, like, if you think the Will Smith eating spaghetti video is weird, it gets worse. Trust me. So, you know, for me, I think that that is absolutely going to play a factor in this movie. And I don't know, is that going to be part of the rules? Is that going to be something that comes up in that conversation? Maybe. It could be one of the things that Mindy is yelling at us and also the rest of the cast at some point in this flick. But I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of the rules, though, I do want to see Mindy have a bit of a revolution in this movie. I love Jasmine Savoy Brown, and I really want to see her have a standout moment here. I've yet to really love this character, so I'm really hoping that changes here in Scream 7. Maybe instead of just, you know, flat out yelling the rules at people, do what Randy did, where it's like she has these private conversations where she's like, well, obviously this is gonna happen, and then, you know, they're totally right. I want Mindy to be right. It's what I want. I want Mindy to be right, but maybe she's just so worn down from the last two flicks that she's not like outright just yelling at everybody about it. She's like, well, this is what I think is going to happen, but I'm probably wrong. And then she's dead right on the money. That would be so funny if they played into that, dude. Oh, that would be money. That would be hitting the bullseye. Do it, baby. That would be such a great, it would be such a great new place to take her character, I think. Make her feel more like, more like her previous ancestor, I should say. If Jill doesn't come back, I'm going to die is saying The Keeper was such a gnarly horror movie. I love standalone movies like that. I agree. Keeper was awesome. That was freaky. One of my favorite things about that was some of the imagery. It starts off as like, you think it's just going to be like this typical little thriller movie, you know, just we're going to this cabin in the woods, we're isolated, just a couple of characters, and then it turns into this like gothic fantasy horror. You're like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. Wow, Keeper had some really striking visuals, like some things I still think about just all this time later. Keeper was great, super underrated, needed some more love, I think, for sure. Lots to love about Keeper. What else is going on? Leo is saying, not sure if Scream 7 will turn out good, but I'm glad that we are moving away from Sam. The sisters were fine, but 2 movies were enough for those characters. I think my thing about it is I just hate what happened, you know, with behind the scenes with Melissa Barrera. You know, like for me, it's like, I almost feel like I kind of want like justice for that character. So like bring her back after all that shit. You know, Scream is built off of, it's a super meta franchise. It's hitting on what's happening in the world. And I think to bring her back in some capacity, there is story to tell with that character based on what happened after Scream 6 came out. You know what I mean? I feel like you could make a whole movie about that, for me at least. And kind of have that like play into the story. It doesn't need to be all about that. That's not what I'm trying to say, but if that's an element to it, just like how, you know, Sam Carpenter being hated from Scream 5 was an element to that character in Scream 6 in a meta way. She heard saying, everybody hates me. Like, I don't know why everyone hates, like, I don't get it. I didn't actually do anything. And I wasn't the killer in Scream 5. You know, it's like, no, that was totally a play on what everyone believed, you know, what everyone thought about Scream 5. And I loved that. It was like these characters were self-aware of what the audience thought of them, which was cool. So I feel like you could kind of bring that into another film with the Carpenter sisters at some point in the future. But it's just one of those things. I don't think it's probably going to happen under Spyglass's eye. But who knows? Anything's possible. I mean, the rights could go to somebody else. I think that Spyglass has a very firm grip on Scream, however, for a little while, just because it's kind of their flagship franchise right now. So we'll see what happens, but I hope they don't keep the rights for long. That's what I'll say. Ghost is saying, Ghost in the Dark is saying we need to see Scream 7 Legacy 2026 trailer teaser play in the theaters. Oh, it probably will. Yeah, with all the flashes of the other movies, I'm sure it will. That's the one I feel like they're probably going to play like at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like in all these different places. I feel like that's going to be a big one. A big one later on down the line. if you did a watch party stream, it would force me to watch stuff. You haven't seen Keeper? Oh, nice. I'm not spoiling it by any means. I just kind of talked about some elements to it. Yeah, well, we could totally do a watch party of that. That'd be fun. I've been talking with you about doing an Abigail watch party at some point. Maybe we'll plan both of these things. Maybe we'll make that happen, Erica. That would be fun. As well as a birthday stream. What do you want to do? If you want to do a birthday stream, we can absolutely do a watch party one. I would be so down for that. You love Abigail. Do you want to do the Abigail watch party on your birthday? Yes. There we go. Rock on. Rock on, baby. Let's make that happen. Guys, I'm just remembering something. I've just been ranting all night. And I'm just remembering something now. I wanted to give some memberships because tomorrow I plan on putting out a little review video for channel members and Patreon supporters. I'm talking about the Vampire Diaries. It's a show that also came from Kevin Williamson, creator of the Scream franchise. And channel members will be able to check that out starting tomorrow, hopefully. So it's going to be like one of the first big perks for channel members this month, which is going to be fun. I'm slowly getting through that show, and we're going to do more reviews of each season as I get through them. But definitely check that out. Become a channel member, become a Patreon supporter. It's pretty damn fun. It's a pretty damn good time is what I'll tell you. So I just sent out 5 memberships for free. Those are going to Val's Views, Drizzy Fest, David Primero, Anthony Rich, and MVR. What is that? Hang on now. MVRC Bryant, maybe? Well, welcome to the fold, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Yes, we'll have some fun content for you guys tomorrow. What I'll say is if you like the live streams, become a YouTube channel member. That's the best thing you can do. You get like little badges on streams, you get priority replies, and also you get like a membership thing. Like every month you get like one like free like super chat essentially. But also, if you like the videos more, I think it's better to support the page on Patreon, where I can actually upload trailer reactions over there. So there's kind of like pluses, there's pros and cons to both, you know. So it's kind of interesting. I cannot do trailer reactions on this page. There's just it's just YouTube is so cracks down on that so badly lately. They're even introducing new policy that is cracking down on that even more. I've had multiple reviews from the last year get copyright striked. Especially Warner Bros stuff, dude. Anything Warner Bros, I am just getting struck down. My weapons review got like a major copyright strike early into the year, and I'm just, it's like every week now I'm getting something. Like a lot of my Warner Bros reviews from last year I think are going down soon, sadly. So Final Destination coverage actually moving forward is going to be really difficult for the page, and I think that's going to be a big part of 2027. So I'm trying to figure a way around all that, but it's it's a tough, weird little time. So sadly, trailer reactions are only going to be over on Patreon. I would love to post them here too, but again, YouTube is just really finicky with all that right now. So I'm hoping that they amend some of that. They understand that movie YouTubers exist. It's a weird time. But anyways, yeah, support the page if you can. I greatly appreciate you all. Everyone who does. Mr. Ghostface, throwing 5 out there again. Thank you for the support. You're saying, I see Pedro Pascal in the stab version of Scream 5. What about the killer using deepfakes to frame Sydney? Oh, wait, I could see Pedro Pascal playing like the stab version of like Wayne Bailey. Dude, that would be so funny. Oh man, I need that. Just like for a quick scene, you know? Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I could totally see that. What about the killer using deepfakes to frame Sydney? I think that totally could be a part of, you know, this next one. I think the killers want Sydney to be tortured though. Like truthfully, I think in this next movie, I don't know if Sydney's even gonna die. Like, I don't even know if the killers, like, their goal is to kill Sydney. They just want to torture her kind of thing. Like, I wonder if that's part of it. I don't know. Like, maybe there's not necessarily like a reveal. You know, there's not like a reveal to Sydney. Maybe she pulls the mask off of them and then like wants an explanation. I almost feel like they just want to torture her. They want to, like, you know, kill her family, essentially. The daughter, the husband, that kind of thing. I feel like that's almost more fucked up because it's like, we want to keep you alive so you can keep generating, you know, ideas for future stab movies. The best ones are with Sydney. That would be so fucked. That to me would be so fucked and really interesting. I don't know. I would be so down for that if that was the case, using deep fake technology to, you know, freak her out essentially, which is horrible and terrible. But I think I could see our killers utilizing the tech to, you know, build their own story essentially. Yo, Jason Carpenter is with us. Thank you for being a channel member. You're saying just making it in. You're getting drunk and watching football and Spurs basketball. Hell yeah. Enjoy. Have fun. Drink responsibly, of course. But have a good time. Have a good time. Ghost in the Dark is saying, do you think we get a second trailer of Scream 7 on Thursday? I think that's absolutely a possibility. I feel like if they knew what they were doing every week up until the movie's release, they would be posting some shit about it. I really do believe that would be the best move. You know, get something out there about it. So that we have shit to talk about. That would be the best way to market this, so that, because there's a lot of people online who talk about Scream, and I think that if they, you know, had something each week to kind of sink our teeth into, that would be huge. That would be huge for the film and really promote the fuck out of it. So I would love to see a trailer next Thursday. I think that would be a really good move on their part. Amber is asking if I have any updates on who the secret cameo in Scream 7 is. I'm really thinking it's Kirby. Like, Kirby is my big guess. I feel like that makes the most sense. Love Hayden Panettiere. She is a huge part of this franchise, and I feel like, especially after Scream 6, it almost wouldn't make sense to do Scream 7 without her. You know, she takes an interest in these kinds of things. So, you know, where is she? Is she just like back in Atlanta now, like just kind of chilling? You know, is she working in some other case? I don't know. I feel like because she takes a special interest in cases like this, it would make sense if she came back. So that's my guess. My guess is she's absolutely going to be in there. It would be cool if it was Angelina. You know, maybe it was Angelina Tylers who somehow survived the events of Scream 3. That could be kind of fun. You know, a big thing to note about Scream, a big thing about Scream 7 to note is that they are kind of borrowing some things from Halloween Kills, which one of the big things about Halloween Kills is that a character we thought was dead ended up being alive. So again, maybe that's Stu being alive, but I feel like it could be something like Angelina, who we really didn't see that much. Like, I think doesn't she get stabbed like once or something, and then she gets dragged away? I mean, like, she could be alive theoretically. You know, something similar happened to Kirby. We all thought she was dead, and she's alive. So for me, I feel like we could do that with Angelina. She's at the mental hospital. She's the character we visit, and that's why Roman is such a big factor in all of this. So I don't know. That could be the case. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely excited to find out who our secret cameo is in this next film. Jason is saying, I am drinking responsibly. I told my Lyft driver when I get home I'm getting Jason Takes Manhattan hammered, and they had no idea what I was talking about. Hammered enough to enjoy that movie. I understand, Jason. I totally understand. That's way too funny. David Primero's with us, who I just gifted a membership to, saying, thanks Killjoy Jake for the month membership. By the way, can't wait for Scream 7, manifesting it to be a Ghostface on the next movie. I appreciate that. I would it would be awesome. I hope that you can get involved. Maybe you can be like a background actor or something, or part of the Ghostface cult, perhaps. That would be a ton of fun. But David, so much love to you, my friend. Thank you for hanging out with us. And I'm really glad that you're a member. I hope you enjoy some of the weird videos coming your way. We got some fun stuff on the horizon here. What else is going on? Erica's thrown out the link to the Patreon, which is pretty damn cool. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Should I wear my Scream shirt to the premiere or my mask? Well, you know, guys, I will also throw this out there because I'm just shamefully plugging everything tonight. There is a new Scream shirt over at the merch store that says Stu is, it says Stu is but dead is crossed out, and on top of that it says Daddy. So if you want to let everyone know at the Scream 7 premiere how freaking kinky you are, make sure to pick up this shirt. It's pretty damn cool. And it's going to be gone January 31st. That day, it's gone forever. We're going to start having exclusive shirts every single month. There's going to be a new one each month that you can pick up, and then it's gone. So you only have this limited time to pick up the Stu is Daddy shirt. And I know I got to get one because the man is he's daddy, all right. he absolutely is. He fits that criteria, let me tell you. So I think that's going to be a fun one that's definitely going to be a fun one to pick up. I'm going to order one very soon here because just wearing that in videos is so funny to me. It's got a little ghost face on it, some ghost face art, which is really cool. So there's some cool shit on that shirt. So check it out at the merch store. I'd appreciate it. Ghost in the Dark Ghost in the Dark is saying that nah, Billy is daddy. I mean, you're also right. You're also right there. So I can't argue with that. That's too funny. Kiki is saying, I liked the Boner Temple more than the previous one. I think that this one will make very little money. That's really funny. I don't think it's going to make a ton of money. It is a very weird movie, but I think it is a freaking masterpiece. Wow, did I love it. Again, no spoilers on this stream just because the film is very fresh, but wow, I was blown away by this one. The first 45 minutes of this film are so very weird. And I just don't think people are going to be into it. I loved it. For me, it's like just knowing everything I know about the franchise to take it to that place, especially in those first 45 minutes. It's like, yeah, no, this just totally works. This is really interesting. And I think it has so much to say about the infected. That's all I'm going to say. It has so much to say about the infected, who they are, how the world views them, and why Dr. Kelson is such a good character. Like, fuck, man. Wow. I don't know. Ralph Fiennes, just an amazing actor. This is one of his best roles, I think, for sure. But please go see it. Give it a chance. Go into it with an open mind. I thought it was awesome. I loved it. And yes, it is beautiful looking. Oh my God, it's a very well shot film. I think it's a gorgeous movie. There's one shot in the third act that I think is one of the coolest scenes in a horror film ever. And I was kind of talking about it a bit in my review, but wow, like, holy shit, one of the coolest scenes I've seen in something in a long time. Like, my God. Some really good stuff there for sure. Do you like black coffee with sugar? What of it? Do you like black coffee like a psychopath? I do like black coffee like a psychopath. This is tea. I will say this is just tea, but I will drink black coffee every now and then. It's a really good appetite suppressor. So if you're like me and you can't help yourself around snacks, I love snacks. I will just keep eating snacks all day long. Sometimes I'll like just put on a pot of black coffee and I'll like just start sipping that because it kills your appetite a little bit, which is kind of nice. So it's kind of like the Ozempic before Ozempic. That's a dumb joke, but I love some black coffee every now and then. But I will say, dude, caramel coffee is the fucking if I don't have caramel coffee in a day, I will go fucking crazy. I got me some of that crazy creamer recently. Like when we first moved into this apartment, we were shopping for ourselves. I was like, I love caramel coffee. I get this like one creamer and it's fucking delicious. So I kind of spoil myself a little bit with that, I gotta say, but love it. Death Wish coffee is the best. I've heard multiple people recommend that, saying that like that's just fucking crazy. I'm gonna have to try that. I've just been getting like whatever's at the store kind of thing, you know. So Death Wish coffee, I'll definitely have to try that. John Best is with us. What's up, John? How we doing? Welcome in. You're the best, John. Thanks for being here. Jill is saying, I think it's really cool. A scared face pops up when you hit the like button. Test it out. Yes, I don't know what that is or when it came about, but YouTube installed that into this page. So I don't know if that's because, you know, this is a scary movie channel or what it is, but they gave that to the page recently, which I think is really cool. So I have a feeling, and I don't know, maybe this is just me. I don't mean to talk shit about YouTube because I really do think that someone in YouTube HQ likes this page. I get away with a lot, and I don't know how I get away with it. And I'm really thankful for that. I swear a lot in videos, and it has not affected my CPM at all. And I'm kind of shocked. Like, I am constantly watching videos about, you know, like people like talking about YouTube and shit just to keep myself fresh on things. And they're like, oh, you know, make sure not to swear in your videos or it's really going to hurt your, you know, how much you make per 1,000 views and all that. I don't think it hurts. It doesn't seem to hurt my videos that much. I don't know what it is. I've had some whack titles before too. Like I've had some really whack titles that I've gotten away with. So somebody, I got a guardian angel over at YouTube HQ, and whoever that person is, much love. I hope you're doing good. I should give you a gift basket. Thank you for letting me be so crude. I know that not everybody is a fan of that. I know not everyone's a fan of that, but that's just that's the personality, baby. That's what I like to do. Erica is sharing the Stu is Daddy shirt out in the chat as well. Guys, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty fucking cool. Probably my favorite shirt in the store right now. There's a ton of Scream merch over there as well. There's a what is it? Something about Wes Carpenter. Directed by Wes Carpenter, which I think is a really fun little Scream reference. It's got some really cool designs on the front and back as well. That's probably even a cooler shirt, if I'm being honest. But a lot of cool stuff over at the merch store, especially for Scream fans. I know that next month we're doing another Scream thing, of course, because it's the Scream time of the year, baby. We're leading up to 7. So there will be some more stuff next month as well. I already got something planned out, so it's going to be kind of cool. Jill is saying Stu is daddy under Jill, obviously. She is the supreme daddy. Well, of course. Maybe I'll have to do a whole line of all the different killers as dad. I'm going to have to do that now. So we need a Jill is daddy shirt. We need a Billy is daddy shirt. We need it all. We need it all to happen. There we go. Maybe Mickey is father. I could see that one being really a funny standout. There we go. We got this. Anyways, we got Mr. Ghostface throwing 5 out there. Thank you, my friend. You're saying, sorry, I meant Pedro as Dewey in like the stab version of Scream 5. Oh, I could see that too. I could totally see him playing Dewey. That's great. Do you think that Richie groomed Amber? You know, sadly, yes. I think that is part of it. They talk about how Richie and Amber met on the subreddit and started talking and having similar ideas. I sadly think that is a subtle thing that they kind of introduced with those two characters. So it makes Richie seem even more despicable. Really, really fucked up dude he was, let me tell you. So I think that's a messed up element to those characters. There's more to say than what was actually, you know, pitched on screen. And again, I think that's just an interesting element to Scream 5. You know, it leaves some things up to interpretation, up to the audience's mind. And I think that's interesting. I don't want to say it's fun because that's really fucked up, but I think that, you know, these are despicable characters and we gotta, it's just something that happens sometimes, which is crazy. But Mr. Ghostface, thank you for the 5. Really do appreciate your support. And yeah, sadly, I think that happened. Hey, yo, we got Josh Petrino out there. Thank you for the 5, Josh. You're saying Jess Dubois is beautiful and so is Jake. Also, pee-pee poo. Pee-pee poo to you, Josh. Josh, I hope you and Jess are doing well. I miss you both a ton. And I hope you both are doing well, doing good, working on some fun movies as well. I know that you both have been busy, which is great. And I'm just, I'm so happy that you both are engaged as well, which is really cool. So very good stuff. Josh, thank you for the 5. Thanks for supporting the page. Pee-pee poo-poo to you, sir. Good luck working on all the crazy shit you're working on. Josh, I got to give you a call at some point in the week. I have something really interesting to throw your way. If you're interested, of course, a potential project, in fact. So something I think you might be interested in too. So definitely gonna have to get on a call at some point if you are free. But thank you for the 5, my dude. We got Erica hanging out with us as well. Erica's just thanking everybody supporting the page. Appreciate that. Do I like Death Note? Yes, I love Death Note. That was such an interesting watch. Death Note is absolutely wild. Man, if you want something that is full of crazy tension and twists and turns, that show's got it all. It's great. Josh, the project, it is a Congo fan film. Yeah, we're doing it. The Congo Legacy sequel. We're making it happen. So, Josh, you know, I still have like a starred link to the sesame cake shirt, and at some point I'm buying it so that I can wear it in videos. I think I'm just gonna treat myself one of these weeks with the stop eating my sesame cake shirt, because man, that's just too funny. I gotta have that. I gotta have that shirt, and I gotta have a Congo too. So we gotta work on this fan film together. We need you to do the VFX for it. Come on now. Oh my god. Ghost in the Dark is saying, did you read my comment about two teenagers that got inspired by Scream? I sadly think I know what you're talking about, and yeah, it's kind of it's messed up. I don't know if you're talking about the thing that I don't really want to talk about here on YouTube, but there is something about that. Anyways, Josh is saying, I will get an I will pay for Amy to go home shirts. I need a shirt of just all the quotes from Congo. Like, stop eating my sesame cake. Rudy, Rudy, Rudy. I need that on a shirt. I'm trying to think what else is so good from that movie. There's a lot of lines. Oh man. Amy said, oh, what is Amy says something really funny too. It's honestly, Josh, the last time I watched that movie was with you. So I got to put that one on again. We need to do Arachnophobia next. Yes. Josh, I need to bring back that series. That was really fun. Like, just watching movies and having like that crazy commentary. That was a really good time. I might bring back that series at some point. But we might have to do another one with Arachnophobia. That would be awesome. Amy want raindrop drink. That's it. There we go. Thank you, Josh. Yes. I'm like, Amy says something funny too at one point. Yes. Mike, Congo's Congo, guys, Congo is kind of a masterpiece. I don't know if you've seen Congo, but it's so good. God, I love that silly movie. Raptor Crashers is saying, what's the scariest movie you have seen, Jake? The scariest movie I've seen a lot of movies that have like just kind of fucked me up. You know, I'll kind of talk about one that I think is underrated that isn't necessarily a horror movie, but really got under my skin. There's this movie by Gaspar Noé called Enter the Void. There's the first 30 minutes of that gave me a horrible existential crisis. Like, I'll be honest, I took an adult's gummy that only adults should eat, and I put on this movie, hearing that it was a really trippy film. 30 minutes into it, I had to turn it off because I was like, I'm too scared and I'm having an existential crisis. I got to get out of this movie. I came back to it later on and watched the whole thing, and it really is amazing. But I would recommend you don't watch that one inebriated. Maybe be sober for your first time watching it. My God. It is sick. Yeah, Josh is throwing some love out there for that one. Enter the Void is super sick. Very wild, very existential as fuck. But really interesting film nonetheless. I love it. It kind of scared the shit out of me. That was one of the last films I feel like that just really left me with dread long after watching it. I love a good jump scare. Don't get me wrong, but like a movie like that is just like something like that gets under my skin. I don't know. I loved that about it. But that was like one of the last movies that I feel like really just fucked me up for a couple of days. Beau is Afraid is another one. Like, as somebody with anxiety, that movie is like the most anxiety-inducing film I think I have ever seen in my life. That one really, I'll never watch it again. It was too much for me, and I'm good. One watch was enough with Beau is Afraid. So those two movies I feel like get under my skin maybe the most out of some of my most recent watches. This is another controversial one that I don't think anyone's going to agree with, but Skinamarink really fucked me up. That was like nightmare fuel. Yeah, I don't know. I was like visibly shaken walking out of the theater for that one. I was like, whew. I've watched that one twice, but man, that one's messed up. It feels like a nightmare. Like, it feels like you just came out of a nightmare watching that movie. Josh is saying Irreversible is on my never again list. I've seen it maybe 5 times, but nope. Oh, Martyrs, Josh, that's the first 10 minutes of Martyrs, if that doesn't fuck you up, I don't know. I mean, the first 10 minutes of Martyrs is like some of the most insane shit I've ever seen. And then like it just keeps going. I mean, it's just insane through the whole thing. But man, the first 10 minutes of that movie is like the craziest shit you'd see in another flick, and then it keeps going. No, it really is fantastic, but it's a heavy watch. Like, Martyrs is a lot. I do love that movie, though. It really is amazing. Faith Dorn is saying, hey, Jake, Erica, and chat. Hope everybody is having a great Saturday. Same to you, Faith. Thank you for joining us. Much love. Much love, much love. Fort Misery Gaming is saying, Jake, don't you think saying Bone Temple will be the best horror movie of 2026? Maybe a bold claim this early on in the year. Does that mean you really don't have faith in Scream 7 with the leaks? I don't have faith in Scream 7 to be the best movie of the year, but I do think I will really like Scream 7. I didn't list Scream 5 or 6 as best movie of the year from their respective years either. I really do love the Scream franchise, but, you know, I've made this statement before. I just don't think the Scream sequels can top the original. I just don't. I think that anything that comes after is just gonna be inferior. Just because that original movie is like, it's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Screams 5 and 6, both really fun movies, and I love them. I love talking about them. But best movies of their respective years, I just don't think so. And same thing with Scream 7. Like I'm really excited for this flick. I think it could make my top 10. But I just don't see it being number one. I'm really excited for it nonetheless, though, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun. But yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be I don't know if it's going to be my number one of the year. Bone Temple, though, was like blow your mind fucking crazy, for me at least. I think what's so great about these sequels is that they're not approaching with the same requel format as pretty much every other franchise that has gone on and continued. It's brand new characters and an all new story in the same universe. Bone Temple, I know, kind of gets into some familiar stuff. That's all I'll say. But overall, you know, the story being told here is something very, very fresh, very brand new. And only there's a little through line, you know, to the original flicks. Where, you know, Scream, it's the same characters kind of coming back every single time, pretty much. And I feel like it's both a gift and a curse, because it's like I love seeing these characters again, but at the same time, it does hinder the murder mystery a little bit. So it's just one of those things. Crazy shit. Josh, thank you for stopping in. I really do appreciate you. Yes, at some point in the week, I might give you a random call when you got some time. So let me know. Let me know if you got some time. We will have to talk. But dude, thank you for dropping in. Much love to you. And thank you for supporting the page. Thank you. We also have Eddie Henderson saying Taco Bell ads give me anxiety. That food blows my ass out. Dude, I understand. That's some real life terror right there. So I totally understand that. That's crazy. We got Larius Part saying, hey, Jake, just came back from The Housemaid. It was unexpectedly good. Have you watched it? You know, I missed this one. I stupidly wrote it off as like a film that was like going to fly under the radar. So I was like, I'll skip it. And it made $200 million at the box office. Wow, I did not expect that. Wow. So I totally missed this one. I don't know if I'm going to have time to go see it at the theater, but I really, really, really want to see it. It's been talk of the town movie. Wow. I just didn't really expect much of it, I guess. Sydney Sweeney's been on a bit of a downward spiral in the last year or so. And I guess I just really I did not interpret this being one of the biggest movies of the last year or so. So kind of just a big shock and surprise. I would have covered it had I known it was going to be a much bigger thing. And I've also heard nothing but good reviews about it too. So I really got to check this one out as soon as possible. I think it's still in theaters. I have had no time to see anything extra outside of the stuff that I have to cover. So at some point, I'm gonna take like a week off to just catch up on movies I've missed. There's stuff from like 2024 that I still want to watch that I just haven't gotten around to. So at some point, it is gonna happen. I promise. What else is going on? You like to throw some sugar on your threats? I love that. I love that. Imagine Hot Topic getting a Scream 7 shirt and hoodie and figures. I'm sure Hot Topic has some Scream 7 stuff. Oh, absolutely. Horror News 180 is asking if are we sure that Terrifier is coming out this year? I don't think Terrifier 4 is coming out this year. I genuinely don't. There was a report saying it was. I think that's BS. I really don't think that's happening. I don't even think they've started filming. And I mean, Terrifier 3, you know, we had Phil Falcone, we had Damian Leone just talking about how that was a major rush job. I doubt they want to repeat that, you know, for part 4, especially with this being like a bigger thing. Trust me, I want it to come out this year. I see you saying that's annoying. I would love for it to come out this year. That'd be great. But Terrifier 4, it sounds like it's a much bigger movie than the previous installments. So I think this is going to be like a bigger, gigantic conclusion to what came before. That's my big guess with it. I think it's going to be all about, you know, battle of heaven and hell. I think it's going to turn the franchise into something even bigger than it's ever been. But I'm okay with waiting if it means a better product. You know, like that's the big thing I want from Terrifier 4. It sounds like it's going to be more of an ambitious swing. So, you know, with that, I think you got to handle that a lot more carefully. Terrifier 3, in a way, is kind of just more of the same. Like, I love it, and I think it's arguably the best, you know, Terrifier flick. I think I weirdly like 2 the most, but 3 is probably the most polished, but it is more, you know, just Art the Clown running around killing people, right? 4, I feel like, is going to be something like evolving the franchise into something a little more larger in scale, maybe something a little more epic. And that is why I think it's probably going to take longer to make this one. So I really don't know. You know, we know that a script exists. Damien Leone has mentioned that before. But I do think I do think that it's gonna be some time. I think once we learn about the production, it's gonna probably be a year after that. Before the film releases. So I could see it coming out like October 2027. That's my honest to God guess right now. We might be a little more time before this one drops, but it'll be well worth the wait. Larius is saying, I also read that T4 is aiming for a 2026 release, but I find it quite impossible. Yeah, I don't think that report is legit, dude. I don't know about that. I saw that article. It's coming from, you know, a place I've never really heard before. I don't buy it. They haven't even started rolling cameras with this one. They were well into shooting Terrifier 3 at this point of the year when it came to 2024 when that movie came out. So yeah, I just don't think it's happening this year, sadly. Even though I would love for it to come out in 2026. That would be awesome. I want it tomorrow if I could have it that fast, but I want to make it happen. I want to make it, I want it to be the best it can be. So far, I really love every single Terrifier movie. I think they've just gotten better and better and better. And I want that. I want nothing to change with Terrifier 4. For Misery Gaming is saying, honestly, Jake, Ready or Not 2 would be my vote for best horror of the year. You haven't even seen it yet. Bone Temple was definitely interesting though, and I definitely didn't predict it, which was a unique thing for a zombie movie. I just love this. I love that franchise to death. I think it is just so interesting, so mindful of, you know, again, it's very relevant, but it's also very scary and popcorn movie-esque. So it's got a ton of different things going on with it. Bone Temple, I haven't had this experience with the film in a very long time, but I was there with a ton of other friends and reviewers, and we're all just sitting there. I mean, like, we watched the whole credits, not even speaking a word. And most movies, when I go with other reviewers and the Splattercast guys especially, big shout out to them. You know, when the credits start to roll, we're talking about it. We're like, what'd you think about that? That was interesting. We start going back and forth. We're just, dissertation session is on. Bone Temple, I mean, we're just watching the credits roll, and I mean, I'm just like this. Like, just, I loved every single second of that movie. It was a very, very strong start to the year. I could see that one being my number one as we get to the end of the year. But every year of horror is unpredictable. I remember, I think it was 2024. Yeah, when The Substance came out, that came out of nowhere for me. I was not following that at all. I thought, you know, for sure Terrifier 3 would be my favorite film of that year. And then I saw The Substance and it blew my fucking mind. I was like, this is the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. And it is so much fun. I just rewatched it. I actually just rewatched that earlier this week. And man, it hasn't lost a single ounce of its luster. That is one of those body horror flicks that I feel like we're still going to be talking about years down the line. If there's any like defining movies of the 2020s so far, I think like Weapons is up there, Sinners is up there, and maybe The Substance. Like those are like three of the biggest movies I feel like from this decade that I think we're still going to be talking about long time down the line. So I'm really, really, really hyped up. Really hyped up for you know, what else is to come, what other big surprises are gonna hit like that. So even though Bone Temple is like probably gonna be my number one for a really long time, I'm sure once we get to like August, September, there's gonna be some movie that comes out of nowhere that's a big horror hit next year. So horror is in this wonderful renaissance now. I would love for something to top Bone Temple, because for me that was a 10 out of 10. And as the years go by, as I get older, I rank less things as a 10 out of 10. I rarely do it anymore. But man, I really think that Bone Temple was a rare, like, okay, that was pretty fucking awesome. I had a really good time with that movie. It's everything I want from a horror movie and more. Very fucking weird. And that's great. Gathering Leaves is with us. What's up? What's up? You're saying 28 years later, the Bone Temple came out so quick after 28 years. They filmed them back to back, which is nuts. They filmed them back to back and then just dropped them, made them happen. With 2 different directors, and now they're going to production for, I believe, the 3rd one now. So I'm really excited to see whatever that's all about. Bring it on. Bring on 28 years later, part 3. I just recently put out a video talking about my predictions for what I think is going to happen next. So give it a watch. It's a pretty fun video. If you missed it, put it out at the end of last week. So really excited for that one. Gathering Leaves is also saying, what was the inspiration behind Brahmin Synthetic? Guys, that is my 48-hour short film. If you missed it from last October, it won Best Film at that little festival, which is pretty exciting stuff. In fact, we even have the little plaque sitting right there. So Best Film, Brahmin Synthetic. I thought that was pretty damn cool. Inspiration for it was everybody at that festival was given a prompt, and we were given 2 big things. We were given robots and we were given slashers. So that's what we came up with was the Brahmin Synthetic short. I said I wanted to do found footage because the year previously we also did a 48-hour film. And we had a lot of fun doing it, but I remember like conversation afterward was like, we should have done a found footage. Like, I think if we did found footage, that would have been more manageable, would have been more easier to do. And that got brought up in our little pitch meeting, talking about what we should do, what we should make happen. We did, it was like a cult found footage. There was a lot of ideas just kind of coming together. And I think we created something just really bizarre and a little goofy, a little over the top, and also kind of bloody and fun. So, I would love to do more with that idea at some point. I've laid out a feature for what I would do with Brahmin Synthetic. So that, I don't know, maybe that's something I work on at some point in the future. It sounds like the guys that I made that with. Shout out to Eric if he's hanging out with us. I know he likes to bump into the streams every now and then. So much love, Eric. Eric and I have kind of gone back and forth about doing a feature at some point, but I think we're going to be working on something else first. So at some point I want to do more with that. I think it's a cool idea. I would love to build it into something else. So a lot of love though. Thank you for being a channel member, and thank you for watching Brahmin Synthetic. That really does mean a lot. It was a really fun thing to make. Fort Misery Gaming is saying Substance for me and Sinners and Weapons were ridiculous. I mean, the best horror movies are ridiculous though. The best horror movies are out of this world insane. And I feel like things that stick it too close to safety just don't do it for me. For me, the best horror movies are the ones that take a big swing, and it all just happens to work out. The Shining is that, in my humble opinion. That is a goofy, ridiculous movie. And it was like, I think it was nominated for Razzies upon its arrival in 1980. And now we look back at that film as one of the very best horror films of all time. And there's a reason for that. I mean, it is a silly movie. It's ridiculous. Here's Johnny. You know what I mean? But it's so good. It's so iconic. I mean, they do things that I feel like when you approach a horror movie, you're like, well, this has got to be serious and scary and grounded. But like horror has to be a little silly. One of the worst things I hear from reviewers is like, this horror movie was too silly. I couldn't take it seriously. The best horror movies are a little silly. The classics that we all know and love are a little silly. And I think that maybe time erodes some of that down, but if you really go back and watch a lot of these, Scream, Halloween, The Shining, The Thing, there's really silly moments to all of these flicks. But they're just so boldly going in this like different direction than anything else that you can really respect it. That's why I look at something like The Substance or Weapons, especially, as being movies that just so committed to what they're doing and did not waver in that at all. That's why I'm like, you know what, 10 years down the line, something like that is going to be considered a masterpiece, without a doubt. Mr. Ghostface throwing another 10 out there. Thank you for the support. Saying maybe Charlie's motive is he got left home alone like his brother. He's just like Kevin, truly. He's the evil version of Kevin. I saw a shop on Facebook selling Scream shirts with one saying, I'm feeling a little woozy here. That's nice. That's awesome. I could, you know what? That's actually really funny because I almost wish we saw Charlie setting traps like Kevin. That would be kind of a little on the nose, right? But that's too funny. Oh my God, the McCulkins, we love them. Culkin, not McCulkin. Culkin, Kieran Culkin. I love Charlie. Charlie's he's a little beta simp, but but I still love him. What a crazy killer. What a silly guy he is. But dude, thank you for the 10. I really appreciate it. Charlie doesn't deserve. I don't hate Charlie. He gets a lot of hate. I don't think he deserves all the hate. That's what I'll say. For Misery Gaming is saying my top of the decade recently have been the sub. Oh, you liked those movies. Okay. You liked that they were ridiculous. I'm glad you did. Your top for the decade are Substance, Sinners, Weapons, Malignant, and Barbarian. All great choices. I can't argue with that. Honestly, I think all those movies would end up on my top 10 as well. Malignant being such an underrated one, man. Malignant deserves more love. What a fun movie with a great twist. I was blown the fuck away by Malignant. I don't know about you guys, but man, my only critique is I think the middle part of that movie slows down a little bit, but once the twist arrives, I'm like, fuck. Oh my God. There's honestly, some of the best sequences in James Wan's entire career. It's right there in Malignant. So I'm a huge fan of that movie. I love it to death. Man, so much love for that one. Does not get enough love. Ludin is also hanging out with us. What's up? Saying Return to Silent Hill is going to be weird for sure. Definitely excited for that one. I already got my tickets for Thursday night. I am really, really excited for that. That one's going to be fun. I don't know if I'm going to... I want to get a screener for that one. Not sure if it's going to happen, but would absolutely love to make that happen if I could. If I could see that one early, that would be great. Definitely support Return to Silent Hill. This is going to be this is a smaller release coming from Cineverse, and this is a movie that might not have gotten released otherwise. It's kind of one of those situations, kind of similar to Toxic Avenger in a way. So please go support this one. It's another smaller flick that deserves love, because Silent Hill is Silent Hill's a really cool franchise. Give it a try. Laris Part is saying loved Bone Temple, watched it premiere night and found it better than the first one. I hope that part 3 comes soon. I agree. I hope it comes soon, and I hope it's even better than the last two. That would be awesome. Birthday Guesser is saying, hey, Jake, hope all is well. Thank you so much. Hope all is well for you as well. Can't wait for Scream 7. Truly hyped. I personally want Stu Macher to be alive. Do you think there's a slight chance that he will be Ghostface, or no shot any, just as AI? Outside of my own personal feelings for it, I definitely think it's possible. They're absolutely making hints at it, and I think that it would be crazy if it really happened after all this time talking about it. I'm really, just again, putting my own bias aside, I genuinely believe that he's probably just going to be utilized for AI. And I'm not sure what the reaction overall is going to be to that, but the most, if you look up what is the most searched thing regarding Scream 7, almost at any given moment it is if Stu Macher is going to return in Scream 7. So it's clearly on the brain with people, and a lot of people are thinking about it, trying to figure out if it's going to happen or not. I don't know. For me, I think that he's likely just going to be utilized for AI. We learned from Scott Foley recently, who plays Roman Bridger in Scream 3. He said that he was never given a script for Scream 7. So how do you come back as a dead character, for a flashback, for, a scene where he somehow returns from the dead? How do you do that without a script? If this is Roman Bridger just doing lines as Ghostface, as AI technology, you're kind of just told to say something, and then you say it like Ghostface. That I feel like it just makes the most sense, sadly. I just don't know how you could do a big, super consequential to the entire franchise scene without a script. It's one of those things I just can't, I can't work that around in my brain, how that could possibly be possible. But that's my honest to God thoughts. I just don't think we're going to see any dead characters come back to life in the film. And again, that's me putting my own bias aside. I'm not just saying that because I don't want to see it happen. I honestly do not believe it will happen in the film. So I really hope that, even though I know a lot of people want to see it happen, I hope they'll still give Scream 7 a chance, knowing that it's going to be just, another genuine murder mystery, trying to do what the franchise does best. Corbin is hanging out with us saying, hey, Jake, what do you think about the new Return of the Living Dead coming out this Christmas? I'm really excited for it. Love Return of the Living Dead. And this seems to be going back to the feel of the original 2. There's other Return of the Living Dead movies. They just don't feel like those first 2 flicks. And I love those movies to death. Those are great. The third one, it has some redeemable qualities. There's a really cool performance from a main like zombie chick that's kind of cool. That I know a lot of people have, you know, very like there's a lot of love for Return of the Living Dead 3, but for me, you know, that franchise is those first two movies. I think those are so much fun, and I'm really excited to see whatever this new one is all about. Again, the little teaser trailer we got back in 2024 for this showed us a frozen tar man dragging a Christmas tree through a graveyard. Fuck, I'm so sold on that. It sounds like it's going to be Christmas themed Return of the Living Dead, which is awesome. I'm like genuine 80s Return of the Living Dead, and I'm so stoked for that. This is a movie I'm highly anticipating for sure. If Jill doesn't come back, I'm going to die is saying my favorite horror movie franchise is Scream, if you couldn't tell, but my second favorite has to be VHS. I love you so much. I love you for saying that. Great choices, because the Scream franchise, super duper consistent. All 6 entries I think are great, but VHS, oh baby, it's something that I just have such an affinity for. I love V8. That's one of my favorite horror franchises, and I'm so glad that I've been able to build a platform off of that one as well. VHS is a much more obscure franchise, but it has grown a bigger popularity in the last couple of years with its revival on Shudder, and I'm really happy for that. I've always loved this series, even back in like the early 2010s, and I'm just so glad it's come back even stronger than ever. So I think VHS is another one of those series that could go on forever, just like Scream. So it has that potential. So much to love about it. Kevo is saying, with The Substance, Sinners, and Weapons getting all these prestigious awards and nominations, do you think things are shifting for the franchise and going a different way to lean into that? Like the horror genre in general, like to try to be a little more prestigious? Is that that's kind of what you mean? Well, you know, I think with all 3 of these movies, they do have some really interesting thematic shit and some things to say, but with all 3 of these films, I don't feel like they're ever getting up on their soapbox and like jamming their message down your throat. Look, I'll be honest, I'll get up here and praise some, you know, really thought out horror movies, but there's some movies like that I just do not like, man. Men from Alex Garland, I think, is a great example. I love Alex Garland too, and it makes me it bums me out that I don't like this flick, but it's a message that I even agree with, but it's just too high up on its soapbox and just so focused on getting its message down your throat. Guys, I don't like that either. I'll be honest. I like when a movie has something to think about, but if it forgets to be a movie, if it forgets to be fun and over the top and crazy, well, then that's not really fun either. I think what's difficult about making a movie is that element. Like, I think you have to have a lot of things going on to appease a wide group of people who are going to come out to see your flick. You know, I think you got to have something to be thinking about, but you also got to have fun. Like, you got to remember that people love seeing, you know, zombies explode into blood, you know, or get ripped apart. People love slasher movies where people are getting cut up and shit. You got to have that too, but you can't just, it's like having a pound of sugar. You know, everybody loves sweets, everybody loves candy, but you're not gonna just eat handfuls of sugar, right? I mean, there's other shit that's gotta go into the mix. Making a movie is like making a delicious dish. You know what I mean? It's like making a food item. You can't just have one thing or the other. You gotta have a whole bunch of shit going on, working in tandem to create something greater. Something that you can't just, you're not just gonna eat a handful of sugar. You're gonna probably put that into something else to make something fucking cool. That's how I look at, I think that's how I look at movies. I want all kinds of flavors going on. That sugar is very important to like a Scream movie, for instance, but there's also some other shit in it that, you know, makes it something a little more thoughtful, right? So I think that's why the term like fast food movies or fast food horror in general is great. Because I think movies like The Conjuring satisfy that itch, which is great. You know, they have some jump scares, which are really fun, but there's not really much more to them than that, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. The Conjuring series is fun. I'll go see, if they make 10 more of those movies, like they likely will, I'll go watch them. You know, I definitely will. But again, I think that when it comes to what's going to be the best defining horror movie of the year and, you know, getting into that conversation, it's going to be those flicks that do it all. You know what I mean? There's so much more that a movie can do opposed to just setting up some cool jump scares and having some really relatable characters. What else can you do in terms of themes? What kind of new concepts can you portray on screen? That's what keeps that's what has my interest. And I hope I don't sound too pretentious in saying that. Because again, I think if I on the same side of that coin though, I think if you can't just enjoy a turn your brain off movie, well then you're just robbing yourself of a fun experience. Like Primate, man, from this year is like the total opposite of something like Bone Temple that is very rich with theme and has a lot to say. Primate has nothing to say, but I fucking loved it and I had a really good time with it. So I think, you know, I think it's good as a movie watcher to be able to enjoy more than just something that is really thought-provoking or something that is just turn your brain off and have fun with it. I think it's kind of good to be able to balance that, like find the good in all these different things, because I really think that there's so much good shit happening in the world of film, especially horror right now. This is such a great great era of film to be talking about, and man, I'm so lucky for it. The 2020s have been amazing in terms of films to talk about, all over the place. If it's turn your brain off shit, or if it's just something really rich with theme and having an interesting point to put out there, I don't know. I just some really good stuff, really good stuff in all of film across the board. Mr. Ghostface, throw another 5 out there. Thank you again for the support. You're saying, do you think that Jill actually loved Charlie, or was she just using him? I also saw Comic-Con is selling an aged Ghostface mask, pop vinyl. That's very fucking cool. I think that I really think that Jill was just using Charlie. And I think that's kind of what's interesting about her. She is so sociopathic, like maybe the most out of any of the Ghostface killers. I don't think there's a sliver of emotion in her body. Anything she does is acting. I mean, she kills her own mom, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? So I don't think she had any love for Trevor. I don't think she had any love for Charlie. I don't think she had any love for anybody in that movie besides herself. And that's what makes Jill so stone cold, lemon scented evil. One of my favorite ghost faces, if not my absolute favorite. So I love Jill. Scream 4 is my baby. It's my little darling. I love that film to death. I will sing its praises until the end of time. It does have problems. I think that what deprives it of making it great like the original, there's some weird pacing, some weird meta jokes that don't land. But man, I do love Scream 4. I don't care. I can love it with warts and all. You know what I mean? I can love it despite its flaws, and that's okay. Ghost in the Dark kills. Did you just change your profile picture? I thought you were like somebody new, and I think you just changed your That's cool. That's good shit. Is that... Wait, hang on. Oh, no, it's not. I thought it was the Conjuring poster from the last Rites poster. That's crazy. You're saying, can we talk about The Mousetrap? It's good. I watched it with my girl on call before we were apart. She loved it. I have not... I don't think I've seen that one. I'll be honest, I have not been up to date on all the public domain horror stuff. Really, the only big thing I've loved from public domain horror has been the stuff that's come from Fuzz on the Lens, which was Screamboat from... Was that last year? Loved Screamboat. That was great. And then I also fucking loved, a lot of the stuff that's coming from, what is it? The TCU guys, the Pooniverse. I'll be honest with you guys. When I saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I thought it was just a dumb, this is ridiculous. This is a cash grab. We're just having fun with this. But then I feel like they really started to take it seriously as we got into, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Had a really brutal opening scene that caught my attention, and then the rest of the movie is actually pretty solid. So I was like, shit, okay, that was a fun slasher, man. Then, the moment I feel like I was really sold on the universe was Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. That was such a fucking interesting movie. I loved that. Man. I think it's got a lot of cool things to say. I think it's got some really brutal moments, some tragic villains. Love tragic villains. Wow. Some cool shit. Some cool shit going on in that movie. And Bambi was all right. Bambi was just kind of forgettable, I'll be honest. But Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, I really loved those. Those two were great. Anyways, For Misery Gaming is saying, so Jake, with CM Punk, Rhea Ripley, and Chris Jericho all now being in the horror movie sphere, will it convince you to ever watch WWE events? I would really love to. I don't even know where to start. I feel like I miss them every time they're on, and they always cost so much fucking money. If there was a place I could just watch, I think Netflix has them now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm no expert by any means. I might check it out. I might see what it's all about. I'm not sure. I guess it feels like Marvel in a sense, where it just feels like there's a lot of homework to do. I don't know really any of the people outside of some of the big names. So I feel like I remember I was watching it with a buddy. I had a buddy back home who really loved WWE, and he invited me over to watch it one time. And he's like, I mean, the whole time just like pausing it and explaining shit to me. Like, and I'm just like, what? Like that? There's so much to this. It's like jumping into an anime on episode 700. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It feels really intimidating. But I'd have to, at some point, I might try to get into it. Mr. Ghostface throwing another 5 out there. Thank you again for the support. You're saying, what did you think of Anaconda with Jack Black? I still have not seen it. I missed a lot of movies in December. The holidays just got really complicated and like kind of crazy. So I kind of missed a lot of movies last month. December, I'm doing my absolute best to catch everything, at least all the big releases. So I'm trying to go see Night Patrol as soon as possible, and Return to Silent Hill. I already got my tickets for next week. So I'll be honest with you guys, I might take Thursday off next week and just catch up on a ton of movies, like just see everything. I'm really excited for Return to Silent Hill, but I want to see Night Patrol. And then there was also a movie at the top, like the very top of the year that I kind of missed, that I might go see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's up. But a lot of fun stuff on the way. Critical Overlord is also, Mr. Ghostface, thank you for the 5. Critical Overlord is also with us, saying start with Monday Night Raw in 1999 and go from there. You'll be done by 2099. See, that's what I'm saying. There's so much of it. I've watched wrestling one time in my entire life. That's all I know about it. It does intrigue me because people involved with horror love it so much. So like, I kind of want to get into it to see the appeal. I don't have an opinion on it. I just have not watched that much of it. I'm familiar with like the term kayfabe and some of the things that go into wrestling, and it's like a big performance, and that's interesting. It's like kind of this mixture of performance art and sport at the same time, and that's intriguing to me. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to go into it with an open mind. I haven't really experienced enough of it to really have an informed opinion, I guess. So I'm curious. Something that definitely has my curiosity. I do want to get into it, see what it's all about. But I guess I just haven't really seen enough of it to talk about it in a confident way. I can get on here and talk about, I've probably seen 5,000 horror movies in my lifetime. So I feel confident enough to talk about that. But when it comes to, something like that, I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. Jake missed Undertaker's streak and prime Jeff Hardy. I hate that for you. Yeah, I'll have to catch up. What's weird? My cousin, Christian, shout out to Christian. Love him to death. He has Down syndrome, and two of his big obsessions is horror films as well as wrestling. He loves both of that. And every time I talk to him, I always see him during the holidays. He always brings up a new weird horror movie for me to watch, and I've always gone out and watched them and given him a review the next time I see him. But WWE is something he always tries to talk to me about, and he loves The Undertaker. So anytime I hear The Undertaker, I always think of Christian, my cousin. So big shout out to him. And I just, I don't know. I know nothing about The Undertaker really, but I know that he loves him so much. So I think that's really cool. So rock on to that. At some point I'm going to make that happen. But yeah, I don't know. I know nothing about all this stuff, but I know there is like a whole, base of people, fan base that just loves this. And that's a very similar fan base to horror. So it is something I want to get into for that reason. Cause I know so many people in the horror space are really into it as well. If Jill doesn't come back, I'm going to die is saying I would watch Primate, but I low key might piss my pants and have nightmares about it. It's really not that scary. It's more of a gore fest. And I think that's kind of what's fun about it. It's like a perfect Friday night horror flick. It's a perfect, like, watch it at midnight with some buddies. It's fun. It's over the top. It's a little silly, but it's great. I think it's got such a great vibe to it. The cinematography is way too good. Like, it did not need to go that hard. The score is amazing. And again, it's not like a 10 out of 10 movie by any means, but it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun B movie, and I had a really good time with it personally. So I don't know. I had a really fun time with Primate. It is not don't expect a masterpiece. It's very dumb. It's a very dumb movie, but like, that's okay. B movies should be dumb sometimes. Sorry, I'm Cursed is also here. What's up? What's up? Welcome in. Yo, yo, yo. I can't believe I'm still streaming. I usually we've been going for 2.5 hours. Guys, I've been having so much fun. I didn't even realize I was going for 2.5 hours. I just looked over at the timer. I'm like, oh shit. My fiance is probably like, what the hell is he doing? Love you, Madison. Oh, she's sleeping. Oh yeah, she does not care. That's too funny. You know, guys, I've been talking about horror movies for 2.5 hours. I think I'm gonna put one on before I go to bed. But what I will say is thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for talking horror. We will be live again at some point. I'm going to try to do, I'm doing like I might do a weird stream tomorrow over on Kick, which is a different platform I've tried to build a following on before, but it's a really cool little platform, kind of a new place. So I might go over there and try to do a stream for Killjoy Jake tomorrow. If you guys are interested, I might promote it a little more. That's a big maybe. Big focus of tomorrow, though, is I will be posting a review of The Vampire Diaries Season 1. So I'm currently going through that Kevin Williamson show. Check it out. Patreon supporters and channel members will be able to see that one. Really excited for y'all to check it out. Guys, thank you again for watching tonight. Thank you to everyone who dropped something in there for supporting the page. Really does mean a lot. If I didn't say hi to you, by the way, I see Eddie Henderson out there. What's up, Eddie? What's up, John Kramer Rules? Welcome in, welcome in. I am so sorry you're catching me right at the end of all this. I will be live again at some point in the week on this page. So I think like Tuesday will likely be the next stream on this page. But again, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. So much love. I will see you guys all in the week. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.